Mic check. There's a mic check. I'm going to turn me up a little bit because last time some people said it was kind of hard to hear me. Can you hear me? In the chat, let me know. I just want to make sure. So IFT8, March 3rd, didn't end up happening, but you know what? I have a feeling this time it will. I was looking at weather reports because that always has a lot to do with it. What does the upper atmosphere look like? Is there any rain coming in? What does it all look like? And I pulled it up. The only thing that I see is there's like 24-mile-per-hour winds on the ground there, which is a lot, but they can still pull it off with 24-mile-per-hour winds. It's not that big of a deal. Visibility, 8 miles. I mean, it's pretty clean. I think it's going to be pretty clean. So if you were with me last time, we went over a lot of things that are going to be changing here with this new rocket, right? There's a lot of upgrades, a lot of things, and I want to go through some of those things with you guys before they end up going live over there. You know what? Let me go and swap over. Can we do that? Yeah, here we go. So you'll see right next to me over here will be SpaceX's site, all right? That, once they go live, we're going to go full screen with that, so you know. It's not going to be like me, and that's it. Down below me, you can see Padre, and then on the other side, over here, I guess. Anyways, we have NSF. So we have the feeds from all of these folks, so we can watch them, just see what's going on before everything goes live. So this is, like I said, pretty exciting. I've been watching this through the night. I've been watching the stack, destack, the whole like try to restack and then they couldn't stack. I don't know if anyone was watching, but there was literally a chunk that they took off. And I remember I was watching this, guys, and they were ready to stack it back up. They had it all swung over. Everything looked good with one camera. But then the other camera, it looked like it was slightly off, but they were lowering it. And I'm like, well, that doesn't look good. But I don't know, maybe it's like guided by robotics, automation or something, and they're just going to swing it over last minute. Nope. They damn chunked it. And I saw like on the video, like literally a piece just launch off and hit I'm like, oh God, what the heck did they, and then anyways, long story short, they ended up chunking off a piece of the 4 tabs. They have like these alignment, they're almost like, I don't know, semi like a triangle, I guess. You know what? Think of it this way. 4 dowels. Like if you're putting together a piece of furniture, yeah, 4 of those. And yeah, so those 4 dowels have to kind of all align up. So this way, when it comes down and the ship marries with the booster, it's all perfect, right? Well, they look like triangles, kind of like. And so the idea is, as it's lowering, if there's any kind of shifting it needs to do, it does until it gets to the big section. Now, 3 of those actually have like these pins. So once it gets fully on top of each other, let's say, the pin will do like this, and that's damn it. That thing is locked in, all right? 3 out of the 4 have pins. Well, it looked like to me, now I don't know for sure, and they didn't even talk about it. It looked like, let's just say there's like plastic or rubber or some type of coating or something that's on this tab that got literally chunked off and launched. So there were people on the ground trying to find the piece to see what the heck actually, and then finally, matter of fact, my community page, I put up a photo of them like walking around the hot staging ring, seeing what the heck happened. Anyways, long story short, I guess they fixed it because they ended up stacking it the second time perfect. So that means to me that that whole stacking procedure, maybe some of it is done through automation, but I feel like the very last portion of it is actually done maybe with a joystick, or there's some mechanical something behind it because it doesn't work as a robotic automated type of process would. It all of a sudden goes to a certain spot and then it kind of stops and then it's like kind of does this type of thing until it's just lined up. Well, anyways, someone messed up and they chunked the damn thing, but luckily it was not a problem because now, as we can see, it's perfectly put together. So it's stacked, it is ready to go. So we'll see what ends up happening. I think this is going to go over. We will see. Peter, thank you so much. Peter just sent out to 19, or it says a member for 19 months. Peter, 19 months, almost 2 years. Wow. He says, please subscribe and share. Thank you so much for that, Peter. I really do appreciate that. So listen, I'm going to go over some of the things that are going to be different on this flight, okay, compared to the previous Flight 7. Now, you guys watched that little preview video, hopefully, that I put together. If you didn't, you can kind of go backwards if you want. It's fine. It's not a big deal. And you'll actually see IFT 1 all the way to IFT 7, and from explosion to near miss to all kinds of other stuff. You'll see it all. Kind of like a highlight reel before IFT 8 launches today. Let's hope so, at least today. So, you know what? Before I get into what changed, let me say hello to some folks, all right? Who do we have here? Let me just zoom up to the top. There's a lot. Do me a favor. If you have a question of any kind, put at JCristina, all right? Tag that, and it'll pop up, and it'll just be easy for me to find your question. You can put a Q before your question also, but sometimes when there's a lot of people on, it just kind of flies by, and it doesn't highlight it. If you do at JCristina, it actually highlights it, and I can see it. If for some reason I miss your question, just put it in there again. It's not a problem. If I answer it twice, oh well, it's okay. Normally I would have Fabiola, like last time. I had my wife with me here, and she would tend to the chat. But today she's away, so it kind of is what it is. There was a lot going on this week, right? In politics, right? And she's like part of that whole thing, so she had to be away. And kind of is what it is. Anyways, how you doing, Dutch Linux? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Primo is here. Phil's Camping Review. Christopher is here. Who else do we got? Moving down, no one is here. Thank you for being here. Robbie's here, Mark, James, Honey Badger, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Let's see, Johnny Appleseed, I like the name. Thomas is here. Let's see, Radioactive Texan, thank you. Let's see, Speed Racer, I like it. Nice. If you're new, just put an emoji down there so I can recognize that you're here. That'd be awesome. Do it. Let's see. Johnny Appleseed. I love that. Dave is here. It says 7 Wishes Photography. Thank you for being here. Who else do we have here? Michael. Grisman is here. George. Ordway, thank you for being here. Mark. Moving down. A lot of people are here already. Peter. Ricky Joe, thank you for being here. Gary. Up. Tinkering. I like it. Absolutely. Always tinkering. Nathan is here. Michael, Marvin Thomas is here. Shane, thank you for being here. Carl, Ken, George, once again. Let's see, moving down. Here we go. Wendy Hill, thank you for being here. Sal and Lester, and we see that Peter has gifted 20 free memberships. So, if you were one of the people that received a free membership, say thank you to Peter. Peter, thank you so much for your support. Really do appreciate that. So, Joe, Anthony, let's see, Marcel, Robin, Country Soldier, The Remedy, Larry, Marcy, who else? HW, Simon, David, Mendel, and George. Nope, George didn't. Who is it? Video received it. And also Ian. West Coin Dutch. So all of you, if you got a free membership, please say thank you to Peter. Thank you, Peter, once again. Really do appreciate that. Who else is here? We have Fran. Fran is here. Shannon is in the house. Shannon, thank you for being here. Another moderator. Appreciate everything you do. Let's see. John. Frank is here. D is here. Dave. Travis, thank you for being here. So, like I said, there's a lot of you. Very thankful for that. Awesome. Let me just give you a quick synopsis of what we talked about last time. There's a lot. There's a lot with Block 2 in comparison to Block 1 that changed. one of the big things, obviously, with this Booster 15 and Ship 34, one of the big things, obviously, is it's taller, right? The reason it's taller is because there is 25% more propellant, more fuel on board, which is a big thing. I think that's what caused the problem with IFT-7, but we don't know that for sure. What's interesting, too, is even though it's taller and it's carrying more, the dry weight of it is lighter than Block 1. So what that means is they've put reductions in where reductions can be. So they've actually made the puck, for example, thicker, which makes it heavier. That's the piece that goes between the engine and the tanks. That is like about, used to be like 7 inches thick or 6 inches thick. Now it's almost a foot thick. Think of a hockey puck, the size of the whole damn thing, 9 meters or whatever, right? Yeah, that is now about a foot thick. That's not a bad thing, right? That's where the engines, right, are bolted to, which is kind of cool. So that is thicker, but they've reduced things. Like the flaps are now smaller, which is kind of cool. They've reduced weight here and there using different alloys, and just reduced it just by not having it. SpaceX is one of those companies that look at it as like, look, if it doesn't need to be there, it really shouldn't be, right? Get rid of it. You know, less is more type of thing. So that's really cool. The fins, you know what? Let me grab this real quick. I have to have like a prop, right? So we have these flaps, right? They're at 180 degrees, right? They're right across from each other. Well, those were on the Block 1s. Well, the Block 2s now have taken these and shrunk them. So they're smaller, but not only are they smaller, they are angled more towards the dorsal side. All right. So instead of 180 degrees like this, they're at about 120 degrees, right around there. So they're inward a lot. I mean, a good amount, like what? Probably about what, 30, 40 degrees or something. They're inward. They're laying right around here, which is really cool. And the reason being is now they're out of the way of all of the, let's say, plasma that's pouring off it as it's coming through the atmosphere. So instead of these flaps taking the brunt of it, they're kind of tucked in a little bit, right? More aerodynamic. They're still going to work. They're still going to function as air brakes. They're still going to steer, right? But it's a little bit, let's say, easier on it. So hopefully we don't see as much of the melt through. If you remember on a lot of the old, you know, IFT 1, 2, 3, 4, you saw that these things would start melting, right? The skin of them would melt. Not the bones of it, but the skin would start melting. Well, that skin isn't going to melt, I don't think, anymore with them being tucked in. So that is something that's kind of interesting. Also, what they've done is they've done some reinforcements here and there to supposedly help with the harmonic, what did they say, response or whatever they called it. It's basically a harmonic type of resonance that happens. You know, you take like a, let's say a pitching fork, you hit it and you hear that, you can hear the sound, and the pitchfork will go like really tight and then start getting wider and wider, right? And the sound will go from that high to a lower and lower. Anyways, the bottom line here is that harmonic basically went through and caused like a shiver or a shudder through the entire, I would say the entire rocket. So what ended up happening is you start getting like hoses and lines pulling and things cracking and breaking. It was pretty bad. They didn't expect that, even though they've done a lot of tests on the ground. But tests on the ground is just not the same as testing, you know, blasting through the atmosphere. You have all kinds of things. You have propellant slushing around. You have all kinds of things that are going to cause this type of disturbance. And supposedly they have now fortified it. Reinforced it so you don't end up having this harmonic response problem. So we'll see what happens with that. The other thing that I said earlier was the propellant tanks. Propellant tanks are larger, 25% more propellant. So liquid oxygen, methane, LOX, obviously. So that is a good thing because they're going to need more as time goes by, because they're going to obviously eventually try to get to Mars, right? We need to get it larger. The other thing that's going to end up changing, which hasn't yet, is that top fairing. Right now, today, hopefully, that top fairing, the Pez dispenser, is going to open. The window, the door is going to open up, and it's going to launch out 4 dummy SpaceX Starlink version 3 satellites folded up, okay? So it's going to be the same mass, the same size, like 21 feet by 8 feet by like 10 inches or 12 inches, whatever, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but something along those lines. 4 of them. So my hope is, number one, that happens. But what will be amazing, guys, is if on those 4, they have cameras. Could you imagine? So these like things shoot out like Pez, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then all of a sudden you get a pan back. And now we can see what the Starship looks like from outer space, right? That would be just an amazing, amazing view. Will they do it? I don't know. But supposedly they had 30 plus new cameras on board. So I don't know. We will see what ends up happening. We will see. But that would be something to me that would be just amazing, awe-inspiring. Just like when we see the Super Heavy come in and literally land in the Mechazilla, the chopstick arms, that's pretty crazy too. Anyways, before I go more into all of the other changes, let me go and check for any type of questions. Once again, if you have a question, put at JCristina. It just makes it a lot easier for me to find. So let me just go through here, see if there's any questions going through here. Is Gala Girl here? I don't know. Honey Badger sees Gala Girl. You made it. So I guess she is here. How you doing, Gala Girl? You are here. Let's see. Once again, if you have any questions, put that at JCristina. It makes it so much easier. Michael says, are they having technical difficulties? So it's hard to say. One of the things that we want to see is we want to start seeing that smoke, right? That cryo when the fuel starts onboarding. The problem that I have with it is that onboarding of fuel. Matter of fact, let me go over to SpaceX's site, and I'm going to see if they've said anything about it. I don't think that they have, but just in case, we want to stay kind of abreast and if they changed anything. No, it still says March 6th, Thursday at 5:30 p.m. CT, which would be 6:30 my time. All right, it still says that. So at about an hour in, let's say 15 minutes to an hour, usually about by 45 minutes for sure, they start onboarding or onloading the LOX, the liquid oxygen, right? And at that point, you'll start seeing a lot of action, right? You're going to start seeing that smoke as you know. And there is like about 52% humidity there. So we should see a lot of fog. It should be, because that's super cold, super cold. I think it's like 330 degrees below zero, something crazy. It's pretty damn cold, 300 plus degrees. So that should be that onboarding about 45 minutes out. Now, we are right now at, let's see, what are we at now? We're at, let's call it 10 to 5. Even if it was 5 o'clock, 6:30 it should go. Let's say the window opens my time. So by 5:45, right around there, we should start seeing, or maybe even 5:30, we should start seeing some action. Right now, we can see on the screen both Lab Padre as well as NSF. There is nothing. I mean, we don't see anything going on. So is there any problems as of right now? I don't think so. All right. Everything looks copacetic, but we will see. We'll keep an eye on it. We definitely want to see something going on by 5:30, 5:45 Eastern Standard Time. So within an hour, we should start seeing something ramp up. So Gary says loud and clear. Thank you for that sound check earlier. I really do appreciate that, guys. I did turn you up a little bit because some folks said I was a little bit low last time. So this time hopefully I'm not. I do have this cold that's going on, so I might mute myself every once in a while to cough and have some of my tea and honey. So we'll see. We'll see. Bear with me today. Bear with me. Let's see. Once again, put that at JCristina if you have any kind of questions, or put a Q. Either which way, at JCristina, that works a lot better. Carl says, do you think that Starlink will eventually release a pro router for advanced users? I have asked them to consider It's so I can take advantage of the VLAN setup. Um, I'm close with some, let's say, people that are, they do installs, let's say, very big installs, and I haven't heard anything about it. So, that being said, will they do it? They could. I just have a feeling that they won't. And the reason being is, do they really need to? Probably not. Because I have a feeling they're going to get, in bed with companies like Peplink. If you don't know who Peplink is, they are a really large router company. They've sent me, I got a bunch that I've tested when I was doing testing for you guys. And I tested a ton of different routers. And some of the routers I tested from Peplink is like their Balance 20, their Balance 30, their a whole bunch of different Mini. So I have a feeling that they'll probably look towards a company that's already doing it and doing it right and doing it well in comparison to them doing it. Now, that being said, I don't work for them. I don't know, but that's just my personal opinion. I am definitely, and I think they are also of the mindset of do what you do and do it well, and maybe just let someone else do what you can't do well, that type of thing. I should take my own advice more often, like maybe hiring an editor instead of me doing all of it. I am anal retentive, so what ends up happening is I feel I can do it better, and which is absolutely not the case. I need to relinquish some. But if you're an editor, hit me up. Maybe we can talk. So let me see. Moving on. Let's see. Carl was saying something over there. Once again, if you have a question, put in at JCristina or put a Q before your question. Dr. Drew says, are y'all free for lunch on Saturday? I love it. Yeah, man. I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. That's something that we'll have to check into. Send me over an email. See what's going on. It's been really crazy as of late. I used to do some of the stuff behind the scenes for some political things for a little while, and then I kind of stopped doing that. My wife Fabiola is still doing that stuff, so it's right now everything is just blistering hot. Obviously, we just had the address, and there's a lot of things going on, and so a lot of the stuff obviously we can't talk about because it's NDA'd, but so we don't really talk about it. But Fab is sometimes not available, and I'm a little bit more readily available than she is as of now. So anyways, we'll see. Hit me up. Let me see. Do you think you'll make up here to Alaska to the Kodiak launch facility? That's a good question. I don't know. I really don't know. So let me ask you. The launch facility. Are you talking about like me, or are you talking about SpaceX, or what, Andrew? Let me know. Let me know down below. Clarify. Let me see here. Let me see. I know I missed a bunch of questions, but I'm just going to kind of cruise back through this long list. The other problem is with YouTube, it only allows me to go back so far. So once we get to a certain distance, so it's a certain time or a certain number of comments, I can't go back any further. So I can't even review to see if I missed something, which is kind of just, talking about having a router that is better. Yeah, YouTube needs to have a structure that is better that us creatives can use. And as a creator that go and do lives, sometimes it makes it difficult, but you kind of play with what you have, and that's what we got. So let me get into, before I get into any other questions, let me just finish telling you exactly what is going on when it comes to the when it comes to this new launch. Block 2 from Block 1. I told you guys about the fins, how those flaps changed. Also, the grid fins. There was a question that I had that people had a real back and forth dilemma with like the fins, the grid fins. Are they like air brakes? And they're really not air brakes. They're more for controlling your yaw, your pitch, your roll, tilt. So, but that's like for the Super Heavy to come in. Okay, that's what those are for. The flaps, right, that you see, those flaps, right? Now there's 4 of them. You got 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top, aft end. Anyway, so those are kind of actually air brakes. They can steer, and they do steer, but they also can be used for slowing down the craft. And supposedly, what I understand is these can actually slow down the craft from like 17,000 miles per hour to like 150 or so. That's why they're blistering hot. They're pouring off heat. You can see the plasma just pouring off them, and then they start melting. The skin starts melting off them. That's once again why they tuck those things in a little bit. Because remember, as this thing is coming through the atmosphere, it's coming in belly first. If you remember, if any of you guys are old like I am, do you remember how the space shuttle would come in? The space shuttle would be like a plane. It would come in like this. And then as it's coming in like this, it'll finally pull up a little bit. And then as it's going through, it's like this. So all of that heat is just coming off the belly that has those massive tiles on it. The same thing happens with the Starship. The other side of it has no tiles, whereas the belly side, right, has the tiles. The dorsal side is empty. So if this unit would come through, if the craft would come in like this, and then somehow something would get screwy with those flaps and control it to flip back over and come through like this, it would melt. It would not make it. It just is not possible. Okay? So it comes in through like this. And supposedly this is now, even though these are in that 120 degrees compared to 180, it's still going to be able to control it. And they come back and slow it down too as it's coming through. Now, my understanding is they're going to push the limits as they always do, come in harder, come in faster to see what can break. Because remember, they want to blow this thing up unmanned because eventually it's going to be manned. So they need to push it to its limit to see what that limit is, and to do it through equations, algorithms. It's not the same. The same thing is what happened when this harmonic response, I call it a resonance, that happened, right? Where it shook the hell out of the ship and still started pulling lines, and leaks formed and cracks, and finally they had to detonate it, right? The RUD. So same thing happened there. So they tested the ship before going live with it this time. They tested it on the ground for 60 seconds straight, increasing power, decreasing power, to see if they can get it to shake up. And the thing is they're never going to get it to shake up like that, all right? It's blasting through the atmosphere. Once again, there is liquid just slushing around. There is a lot going on. Pressures are out the roof. So you're not going to be able to find that out until you're actually in the real world. And that's one of the reasons why they want to come in so steep. They want to come in hard and fast and really push it. The other thing that they've done is they've added on spots where they're not having tiles. There's no tiles at all. They have, let's say, thermometers there, right? There's sensors there to see how much heating ends up in that spot with no tile at all. They've also added actively cooled tiles. So the tiles, instead of just simply being ceramics, right, which would be like a dinner plate that's stuck on, a little bit thicker than a dinner plate, but still very fragile, like a dinner plate. That ceramic is passively cooled, right? So it comes through, it turns red hot, and then it just quickly dissipates, almost like something like in a kiln or something, right? So what they're doing now is they're going to be having some actively cooled tiles and metallic tiles. So actively cooling, to me, means something like you would see in your computer. So instead of having, let's say, your computer that has your CPU in it and then just having a fan blow on the CPU, right? You don't do that, right? It's not going to work as well. You end up putting a copper plate over the CPU. And now you put a grid fin like on it and then blow on top of that. Now all of a sudden you have more dissipation of that heat, right? That's one way. Another way of actively cooling is now running coolant through it. And I think that's what they're going to end up doing. I think you're going to have like a ceramic plate, and then on the backside, you'll probably have like a spiral of some kind of means of cooling it. Remember, they have cryo, like 300 below zero liquid LOX, right? Liquid oxygen. They have cooling that they can use to kind of pump through it. And you don't need a lot. That piping doesn't need to be that big. So maybe they'll do that. I don't know. I'm speculating. Once again, I don't work for them. Okay. But that's something that they are working on, actively cooled tiles and metallic tiles. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. That is very interesting to me because remember, guys, the only way that you can have a reusable rocket, upper stage, not just the lower stage, which is obviously reusable at this point. It's not landing in the drink. It's not landing in the Gulf of America. It's actually being caught. And if it is caught this time, that'll be the trifecta. That'll be 3 catches. That'll be sweet. That'll be nice. But what really needs to happen is that upper stage needs to be, let's say, reusable to a point where you don't have to replace tiles. We can't have tiles that are just breaking off due to heat, popping off due to them being too close together. So when the heating happens and the expansion happens, they crack or pop off. Can't have that. If they're too tight, that's what would happen. You can't have it where they're too loose, so when the coldness of it shrinks it. Now you can't have the tiles with the massive gap in between them, right? Now that ain't gonna work either. So it's like this, it's almost like a dance between these tiles. Whereas like the tiles that are on the belly that are going to see the maximum load, the maximum heat, once again, where you see just the plasma pouring off it, those tiles are going to be able to be a little bit, let's say, further apart, right? Because remember, they're going to expand a lot under that heat, under that stress. Whereas the ones more on the side can be closer together. So it's like for them to figure out which tiles can be closer and which tiles can be further apart and all the rest of it. I mean, these people are genius. I mean, they're absolute genius. So anyways, that's the thing that they really need to get. All the rest of this stuff, I think, is kind of like secondary. To make it fully reusable, those tiles, that heat system, all right, that thermal protection system, TPS system, that protection system has to work, and it has to work continuously over and over and over. And they're not there yet. I mean, I was listening to Elon Musk. I think he was on Joe Rogan or something. And he was saying, he was talking about it and stressing how important it is to be able to get that thermal protection system just spot on. Right? There's no room for error, right? It has to be right. If not, it will not be fully reusable. And it is a very hard thing to do, as you can imagine. So he was also talking about not only the craft expanding and contracting based on, negative 300 plus degrees to positive thousands degrees, but also on the sheer load of it. Those engines will torque the whole unit will just flex, let's call it. It will flex. Kind of like a plane flexes their wings, similar to that. So they have to take all this into consideration. It's a big thing, a really big thing. Also, what they have done is they've changed the avionics, the computers. They're probably like ARM-based, Linux, let's call it, but their own system, probably ARM-based systems that have been now, let's say, advanced, probably using some of the Tesla-derived technology. I wouldn't doubt it, but they have added to it, so they're more powerful, faster multi-core processing, basically. And at the same time, they have tripled up and quadrupled up on their redundancy. Now, we know anyone that's in aviation knows that redundancy is everything. Same thing when it comes to maritime with boating. right? Everything is redundant. Redundant. You know, it's always been like this. 1 is none, 2 is 1. So do you want 1 or do you want 2? So to have 2, you need 3, right? So what my understanding is they went to triple redundancy and quadruple redundancy on this IFT8 on some of those systems, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And that's the kind of stuff that you want to see. Let's go and refresh this page real quick. Make sure nothing changed. Make sure that we're still on for 5:55 p.m. Yeah, we're still good. All right. That's good. Before I go on to any other things that have changed here on the structure, because there is a lot of other things, let's get back into any of the comments. Once again, cue before your question, or even better, at JCristina. At JCristina just works a lot better. So do that. Let's see. Dutch Linux says, is your fiber down? You started buffering and the video looked like a C64. Yeah, the Commodore's the Commodore 64. Maybe it was even worse. Maybe like a VIC-20. Really geek speak, right? It shouldn't. If you see any type, I'm looking right now at, let's see, we're pushing out 3 to 6 kilobits per second is what we're pushing. And it should be pretty consistent. Now, if it's not, I really don't, I don't know why. I do see that there is some lulls and some lags here and there, and I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that is their receiving it or me sending it, because I'm doing pings and speed tests. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring up a, let's do, because that's a good question to kind of keep track of. I'm going to do a ping over there to Cloudflare and see what this looks like. All right, I'm just going to keep that running down below so I can just monitor, make sure nothing crazy is going on. So right now we're seeing about 4 milliseconds. So that means that we do have the bond between fiber, SpaceX Starlink, and T-Mobile. So I don't know. I was seeing that there was, I was hearing down the grapevine that YouTube was having some issues with the receiving of the signal for some of the channels. Now, I don't know what that is. YouTube's been having some things go on with them. And it's like some channels, yes, some channels, no, and we don't know why. Also, I mean, this is just kind of anecdotal, but some channels are seeing a mass reduction in views as of like the 16th or 15th of January. And then other channels have seen a mass, just a bump, and no one knows why. So what is going on over there? I don't know. So anyways, guys, right now we're still sitting at about 4 to 5 kilobits, and that's what it should be at the 4K. And we're at 4 milliseconds. So we're still pretty good. Let's see. Hopefully we don't go back to a VIC-20 and pixelate, and I start looking like a Minecraft guy. We don't want that. Let's see. Andrew said, you personally, other folks have done video tours of these off the beaten path launch facilities. Oh, okay. That would be kind of cool. So honestly, I didn't even know about that, but that would be pretty cool. I mean, I have never been to Alaska. I've been to all of the Caribbean. I've been to like many states. But I have not been Jamaica, all down here, but I've never been to Alaska. That'd be kind of cool to go. But yeah, no, I've never been there. That would be pretty neat. Let's see, Carl. What is Carl talking about here too, Michael? It's talking about TP-Link mesh systems. Yeah, if you have a question, let me know. Dutch Linux says, Linux no buffering here. Interesting. All right. So no buffering there. Maybe some people are getting the buffering and some people aren't. I'm telling you, just weird stuff is going on. I don't know. Carl says, I have 3 Starlink nodes in my setup. Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing that's really cool about SpaceX Starlink. If you have SpaceX Starlink and you want to expand your network, they make it stupid simple, all right? Now, of course, you can build your own like I do because I'm a nerd. And I did many videos about it. So if you're new here, you don't know, I put together about 440 videos of SpaceX Starlink and SpaceX stuff, a lot of Starlink stuff and mesh networks, and I compared multiple routers, and I taught you guys how to do all kinds of stuff. So yeah, check that out when you're done watching this. It's basically a playlist I put together with all 440 videos so far. So check it out. But anyways, I digress as I always do. Rabbit holes, ADD. But coming full circle with the routers, if you have a brand new router that you just purchased from SpaceX Starlink and you stick it next to the router that's currently working and you fire that thing up, all right, and you log into the router, the main router, it's going to say, hey, I just saw something. There's another router. Do you want me to use that as an AP? Basically, an AP is an access point. And then you're like, yes. And it's like, okay, I'll do that. Boom. You could take that router now, put it about 100 feet away from you, 75 feet away. You don't want to go too far, right? Not too far. Because people don't understand, because you're building a mesh network, they all need to be close enough to each other to have full strength signal. Because, as they say, crap in, crap out. If you're sending one router, matter of fact, I'll use a Ludens because my throat, right? So if this is one router and this is another one, which is an AP, which is an access point, if it's too far apart and this AP is getting crap signal, it's going to propagate out a crap feed, a crap signal to the next one. So you want to make sure that they're close enough apart, right? Close enough together, so that they have a strong signal between each and every one of them that you're putting together. Anyways, so yeah, SpaceX Starlink routers, they're not cheap, but if you want to build a mesh network really stupid simply by just turning it on, there you go. Pick up another router and it will find it automatically, and you'll just be able to be like, yeah, go ahead and use it. And be like, okay, no problem, we'll do that. Pretty cool stuff. Let's see. Let's see. What is Mo saying? Mo's saying 3 and I need because 1 and 2 redundant, blah, 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 plus your audio glitched. So my audio glitched? Interesting. We're still looking good. That is weird. I don't know. All right. Well, keep monitoring. Let me know if, if things go south. Let me know what's going on. Also, if you just refresh, sometimes what will happen is if you just restart or refresh a live stream, you might get another server that it's pushing you the packets from. So that sometimes clears things up also. Refresh. Let's see. Once again, if you have a question, put at JCristina before your question, or you can just put a Q, but at JCristina makes it a lot easier. Let's see, moving down here, what kind of questions are there? Mo, thank you for being here. Once again, Mo Space Life is one of the moderators. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Let's see. You have back pain. What is going on, Mo? Talking to Honey Badger over there. What is going on? You hurt yourself? That's not good. We don't want to see that. Let's see. Did you read comment on last video? Honestly, there's so many comments. I probably missed it, Mo. I probably missed it. Let's see. Let's see. Moving on. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Here we go. Question. I would like to boot to Fedora without the grub menu. So can it be done? So if you want to boot into, that's a Linux question. If you want to boot into Fedora without a grub menu, remember grub or any of the bootloaders, okay, need to be there if you're going to dual boot. That's just simply the way it is. So there's kind of like no two ways about it. That's kind of, it has to be there. So if you want to dual boot, but you don't want to have a bootloader, I mean, you could probably do something like this, right? Put a couple, this right here is my Windows 10. Never put it back in for like about 180 days or even longer now. I'm using straight Linux ever since. I did the whole Life After Microsoft Windows Cutting the Cord series, and here it is. There's proof. Anyways, you can have multiple of these in, and if you don't have a slot for them, I bought a little card that holds 4 of them. And then what you could do is you could put these in there, and then when you go and boot, you just simply go into your BIOS and say boot from this, or boot from that, or boot from this one. So you can have multiple OSs and not have to use Grub if you want to. So that is a way to do it. Shannon, thank you so much, Shannon, for the super chat. Says official, on air, purple hair super chat. Thank you so much. Yes, I got it up. It is there. Not the same without Fab. I know. I wish my wife was here. I really do. I really do. But she has to work. Even on the last one, she had to leave early. So hopefully we can get her here for Friday or maybe the following Friday. But yeah, it's the period of time that we're in right now, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the political world, and there's just a lot of things that make it very difficult. And at that point, you're traveling, you have to do stuff all the time. Let me see here. Shannon says, thank you once again for that super chat. Says, make sure that you are here for a chance to get a channel membership. Bear this in mind. This is very important. Like, subscribe, and share to increase your chances of getting one of those gifted memberships. Shannon gave a lot of memberships on the last live, and I cannot say thank you enough. Okay, I told him just take them all back because it didn't go off. And obviously you can't do that, but Shannon does give memberships out. I hope he doesn't go crazy this time, and we do appreciate it all. But just like he said, if you're liking and you're sharing, you're subscribing, you do have a chance of getting one of those free memberships to the channel. So definitely do that. Definitely do that. Really would appreciate it. Right now we have a couple hundred people on board. I think last time we had just over 800. So it really depends. Maybe we'll hit 1,000. Maybe we won't. I don't know. This is, once again, take 2. And hopefully, they get it right. I was saying how, I was speculating in one of my last videos, and I was talking about how we saw that Elon Musk was at the address, and he had a snappy new hairdo, great haircut, and he didn't have his son X with him or anything, and he was up there. And when I saw that, I'm like, well, maybe they're not going to launch because he is there, and now the following day he's got to do something in DC. Now, if that was the case, I really don't know. We did see some issues going on with the ship and with the Super Heavy, so chances are that wasn't the issue, but it was something that I threw out there because I saw him there, and I'm like, him doing the Doge thing is a lot. It's not something easy. I know there's people that love him for it, and there's people that hate him for it. I personally like that he's doing it, but, everyone has their own, opinion on it. Opinions are like belly buttons. Everyone has one. So it kind of is what it is. But anyways, so we'll see what ends up happening. I hope all is good. We are now at 5:21. That's Eastern Standard Time. I said by 5:45, we're going to see things happening over there. We're going to start seeing some smoke and whatnot. And as you can see in the video for the last few minutes, we can see there is some pouring out of smoke. All right, that's not really smoke, right? It's that super cool LOX that's going to be onboarded, and they're prepping stuff and probably starting the onboard process. Usually, onboarding starts about T-minus 45 minutes, but maybe they're doing some testing right now because as you can see, we have over here we have SpaceX. Down below me, we have Lab Padre, and on the other side over here, we have NSF. So we have their live feeds going. We really appreciate all of their hard work, and that's why we want to make sure that we give them full credit for everything that they do. They are amazing for this community. If it wasn't for them, then we wouldn't be able to see a lot of this back end that's going on. Matter of fact, I saw the chunk that was missing. Matter of fact, there you go. I saw the chunk of the tab, the alignment tab, chunk off and fall to the floor watching one of these feeds. I think it was last night or something, or earlier. So this is the kind of stuff that happens, and you get to see it because they have cameras on the ground running 24/7, which is absolutely amazing that they do that. Definitely support them as much as you can because it costs money to have those cameras on the ground running all the time. It's not an easy thing to do, for sure. Trust me, I'm a professional photographer. I'm a videographer. I'm also a DP, which is a director of photography, doing episodic TV and all this kind of stuff. So I know all about it. And some of those cameras they're running are Reds. And Red cameras, some of them are like $15,000, $20,000, $40,000. They're expensive. This is not cheap stuff, all right? So anyways, little rant. But yeah, so that locks, usually the onboarding of it is about T-minus 46 minutes. Right around 1 hour and 15 minutes, that's when the flight director is like, hey, go, no go, are we good? Is everything looking good? You know, what's going on for the propellant onboarding, right? So we can see a lot of smoke. We'll just call it smoke. Obviously, it is super cooled air. There's a lot of humidity. I said it's about 52% humidity in Boca Chica right now, 52% humidity and about 24 mile per hour winds. So it's a lot of winds, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. As long as everything stays nice and clear, I think weather is going to be perfect for what needs to be done here. So we'll see. Anyways, let's go back into seeing if there's any more questions. If you have a question, at JCristina before your question, or put a Q before your question. At JCristina is the best if you can. It pops out a lot easier. Once again, say thank you to Shannon because he does a lot when it comes to this channel. He is one of the moderators. So is Mo. So is Peter. There's a lot of them that are constantly here helping the channel and telling you guys what to do and how to do it. And it really helps out a lot, especially me being a one-man show. I don't have a whole bunch of people here. You know, I have, just so you know, some people want to know like what kind of setup we have here. We have a laptop sitting over here, right? This is running all the time. This laptop is something that we use for doing some back-end work as well as doing some recordings. I will be recording this on the back end instead of recording through here. I have a 34-inch monitor here, then I have another 27-inch monitor here. We have cameras here, lighting here, and then obviously everything that you can see in the background. And then we have stream decks for being able to switch around. So we can go from, you know, this scene that we have here to me just being full screen. Right, we'll go back and forth from that, and that's obviously done through the Stream Deck. So this is kind of what we do, making it this one-man show. Not an easy thing to do, but it kind of is what it is. There's a lot of channels out there that have a lot of help. Some don't. And when you don't have a lot of help and you have moderators like these guys, it is really appreciated by me. Trust me, it is really appreciated. Popcorn for everyone, right? I love the popcorn from Radioactive Tech's in there. Yes, we need popcorn. We need bananas. Popcorn and bananas, people. Let's see. Before I go into what else has changed, let me see if there's any questions, all right? I see that, George. You put that Q in there to get my attention. You got it. I'm here. I see you. I see you. Let me see. Here we go. Shannon says, you missed my request. Did I? I did. I missed it. Here it is. You know what? I was still above there. I got it now. I got it. Thank you for that, Shannon. So I usually do this. And when I fire this thing up, my wife is usually sitting here. And normally when I fire it up, for some reason, it will launch out a torch about 1.5 feet. That's when she's here. But when she's not here and I do it, it doesn't do that. Or when she does it to me, pointing, it doesn't do it. So let's see. He wants me to give it a shot. So here we go. We're going to fire it up. I don't have a cigar to light, right? But we're going to fire it. Ready? 1, 2. I guess we would do 3, 2, 1. It did it. Did you see that? Listen to that. It literally launched this far. It's literally, you know what? We need to get like a refund on this thing. We're gonna have to put in for like I don't know, replacement, because this thing is dangerous. I don't know. I'm gonna tell Elon that, look, this is kind of scary. It's literally like his flamethrower. I wish he would put a flamethrower out again. Wouldn't that be cool if you can buy like the Tesla or the SpaceX, the flamethrower? That'd be pretty neat. Anyways, there you go. The launch. We'll be using this probably using as like a demonstration. Once they have the new one, the Block 2, I'm going to buy it, right? You know what? Let me put something out there. If anyone has the ability to print, okay, 3D print one of these, especially with the new top, right? This new fairing piece here at the top, right? A new fairing that has the 20-degree or 120-degree, so they're more dorsal side instead of being 180 like this, you see, across from one another. They're now dorsal, about 120. If you could print one of those for me, if you need a little cha-chang on the side, let me know. I think that'd be awesome. I would love to put one of these, maybe even bigger than this, like back there, but the new model, the Block 2, I don't know. I don't have a 3D printer. I don't have the prints for this, but if someone does, reach out to me. Go to JCristina.com. I'm going to put it right now in the chat. Go to JCristina.com. Then go to contact, reach out to me. I think it'd be awesome to have. Absolutely awesome to have. Let's see. Moving on. Here's a question from James. What are your predictions on this launch? I have a feeling that this launch is going to go over really well. Okay. Last time I said this, but I kind of said it in just a little bit because I had just a funny feeling, and I even said it during the original test was March 3rd. I was saying, I have a feeling this is going to hold at T-40. I really do. It's just there's problems that they were saying. So originally they said there were problems with like Super Heavy. Then there was problems with the Starship. Then there was problems again with the Super Heavy. And it was like, no, this is not going to happen. You can't have that many problems and expect the thing to launch. It's not going to happen. It's going to be held. And they held it T-minus 40 seconds. And that went on for, I don't know, it was a minute or two. And then all of a sudden we saw the countdown start. 40, 39, 38, 37. And it got down to T-minus 29 seconds, I believe it was, and then pop. It said plus 12 or minus, I don't know, some anomaly that popped up, meaning that it was scrubbed. And that was the end of it. And that's when we found out that the problem that they were having was the turbo pumps. Okay, so what is a turbo pump? On the ground, you have to force feed fuel into the engines prior to ignition, right? Kind of like what you do with your car. It has to have a certain amount of pounds per square inch. They need about 700, I don't know, 725, let's say 700 plus PSI of fuel to light those 33 Raptor engines. Well, they were down by 20 bar. Doing the math, 20 bar is about 290 PSI. So they were light, they were short 290 PSI. Now, if you have a car, let's say if you're a race car, I used to build race cars, right? I used to build engines. If you have a race car, for example, and it's not getting enough because there's a fuel rail problem or there's a fuel injector problem or your pump isn't running right and there's not enough pounds per square inch, not enough PSI of fuel going in, your map still shows the same. You're going to pump the same amount of air, but you're going to be light on fuel. What happens? You run lean. Detonation. You blow a head gasket, so on and so forth. And I said at the time, like, yeah, you don't want 34 or 33 Raptor engines to blow head gaskets. Obviously, there's no head gasket. But I'm just saying, you can't run lean, or either they're not going to start or they're going to just self-destruct. Anyways, long story short, that was the problem. That was one of the problems. And the thing was, I don't know even to today. They didn't say, unless someone else knows, you let me know. Was it a ground problem? Or was it a Starship or a Super Heavy problem? I don't know. Why was there a 20 bar reduction in pressure? Why was that? Was it because those turbo pumps that force feed that fuel from the ground before they light weren't working properly? Or was it something on the ship itself that was causing that deficiency in PSI? I don't know. Like once again, if someone else knows, let me know in the chat. Either which way, I have a funny feeling that it was something with the Super Heavy, with the booster. And the reason being is these turbo pumps, I mean, they have redundant turbo pumps. They could have brought something else out. They could have fixed it if it was a ground problem. That's why I think there was something wrong with the booster. Once again, I don't know. In the chat, let me know if you know. So anyways, that's kind of the skinny about what happened the last time. There's other things that happened, but that was one of the things. I see there's a whole bunch of kicks going on because I went into a rant. You'll see a lot of those. Thank you very much, Mo. Thank you, Shannon, for those kicks. That means that I went on and on like I do sometimes. My apologies. Let me get back to any kind of questions. When Fabiola, my wife's not here to kick me under the table, just so you guys know if you're new here, the guys will kick me like this, and you'll see a whole bunch of legs. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Yes, so Michael said sometimes that it shows up as 1080 instead of 4K. I believe that the live feed is going through 1080 instead of 4K, whereas all of my videos are going 4K. I believe that's what's going on. I could be wrong. Let me know. If someone else is getting 4K out of it, let me know. But if not, they're getting 1080. I would love to know. But yeah, thank you for that. Dutch Linux said he has a question. How is your Linux experience so far, and is it better than Windows, or do you say it is still so too many shortcuts? So yeah. My Linux experience in comparison to Windows is that my Linux experience is better. I just upgraded from Linux Mint 22 to Linux Mint 22.1. The upgrade went flawlessly and is running as good as it did before. So that being said, my Linux experience is better than Windows because I'm getting less problems with my video editor, which is my video editor of choice. It's DaVinci Resolve. And then also, I'm not getting any of these like stutter stalling type of stuff whenever I put in a game. Like I showed you guys, I gamed, was it POS 2 or something, which was pretty good. And it ran very quick. So yes, Linux is running fantastic. Johnny Appleseed, welcome to the premier sub. Thank you so much, Johnny Appleseed. Thank you so much for being here and for that sub. Really do appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Also, you'll see anytime subs happen, it's going to show up like down below at the very bottom here. That's something new, which we've installed. And also, if there's like a gift, you'll see that highlighted. And then on the lower, I guess this side down here, you'll see like an ongoing like tally of any type of super chats that happen, memberships, anything that happens that will go down there. Let's see, question. Michael says, we got to Michael's already. Moving on. Robbie says, I have a 3D printer. I'll have to see what I can find. Yes, thank you so much for that, Robbie. Thank you. That would be awesome. Let's see. Johnny Appleseed says, I don't have the Boring Company's flamethrower. I want it. Could you imagine? That would be awesome. They only put out a few of them. There wasn't a lot, a few. But that would be just awesome. He said, but I have an old World War I. That'd be pretty cool. A flamethrower from World War I. Holy crap. That's pretty neat. That is really cool. Yeah, Johnny Appleseed. I would really like to have gotten one of those Boring Company's flamethrowers. That would just be so, so cool. You know, I just like the kind of the collectible stuff. That's why I picked up this. I think it's just neat. I've actually I don't even smoke, but I lit a cigar with it when I first got it. You know, that kind of stuff. It's just fun. It's kind of fun stuff to have. Let's see. Shannon, do not start with that damn shower. Actually, Shannon, here, people ask me about the shower all the time. We actually had 2 guys in the bathroom putting up lighting today. So we got a new fan in there. We got like multiple lightings. We got lighting in the closet. We got lighting in different areas. And so we're moving forward. That was good. But yes, I didn't do it myself. And we're hired in these 2 guys. And they did a really good job. They got to come tomorrow again to do some more work. So, but Johnny Appleseed, we all know that the Pez dispenser will be used by someone as a urinal. Yes, it's possible. It's possible. I'm excited about the Pez dispenser. What do you guys think? Do you think that they're going to launch out those 4 dud Starlink version 3 satellites? I have a feeling they will. The question is, will there be cameras on board? Because if there's cameras on board and that door, that bay opens up and it launches out those SpaceX Starlinks, right? Version 3s, the dummies, and they have cameras and those cameras are pointing back at the ship, that would be just some amazing footage. That would be absolutely amazing. So we'll see if they do it. There was some hinting by Elon saying they might do it. So we'll see. That would be freaking awesome. That would be awesome. I would love to see it. Let's see. Let's see. Let me grab a drink real quick. Let's see. Michael, you were asking a question about a Wisconsin street stock or super stock. For me, I ended up building I used to build like from 350s, 396 to rats to big block 454s on the Chevy side. And then also I moved from American to some rice, as we call it. And I started building some of the Japanese cars. And I ended up getting, it was an American car, but it was originally from a GSX. But I ended up getting, just to be really quick here, guys, I ended up basically building a Eagle Talon. If you guys know what an Eagle Talon is, an Eagle Talon all-wheel drive Eagle Talon. It has a 4-cylinder, and I built the motor from scratch. So it was balanced and blueprinted. It was just done, completely built. It was putting out 611 horsepower to all 4 wheels. And we were running sub-10s in the quarter mile. It was like 9-something quarter mile. So that was one of my builds. But I also built like a BMW M3. I built a bunch of different cars, and of course all the Americans prior to that. But yeah, I love it. I used to love it. I don't do it anymore. I don't got time for it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let's see. Moving on. Was it around 500 flamethrower? God. The flamethrower will just scare Fabiola. Yeah, can you imagine? Instead of using this, I'll pull out the flamethrower. Then she'll really run. Shannon thanks Johnny Appleseed for the premium membership. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you once again, Johnny Appleseed. Really do appreciate you guys. Really do appreciate you. Once again, if you have a question, put at JCristina or put a Q before your question. Let me get back into SpaceX just to make sure. Back over to their site. Let's refresh. We're still going 555. I like that time. So March 6th. 5:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We should be live. Right now, we are at 5:54. So, they're not live yet. Now, should be live in the next few minutes. Bear with me that, I'm going to try to go through anything that I can go through real quick, because as soon as they go live, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut up a little bit. I'm going to let them talk. I'll let them have the floor. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll kind of come in and out and talk as I can. But I'll give them the floor to really discuss what is going on so we can get an understanding. I'm also going to go full screen. So if you're here, you've never seen a launch and hung out with me, you're not going to see it like this. You're going to see it full screen, and I'm going to be tiny. Okay, so you'll be able to see the whole thing. So don't worry, don't worry. And I won't do too much commentary over them unless they start babbling about nonsense that we already know. And then I might turn them down and I might talk a little bit, but we'll go back to them always. And we're going to go through the entire launch. So right from the, right now, obviously, we're to a point where you can see the smoke pouring out of this thing. Smoke, right? It's not smoke. So they are obviously onboarding that LOX, the liquid oxygen. They are doing it. And that starts at 46, T minus 46 minutes. At T minus 43 minutes, that's when the liquid methane, all right, starts onboarding. So that is going to be happening if it's not happening already. But we can see activity. That means that's a good thing, all right? That's a really good thing. Anyways, we will watch for that. Once again, once they go live, we will switch over. And if for some reason I don't see it in time, in the chat, tell me. Be like, Joe, they're live. I'm like, all right, no problem. Let's see. Johnny Appleseeds, I just burned diesel in my WW1 flamethrower. There you go. That is just so cool. Could you imagine having, I need a flamethrower. That'd be just cool. I have a gas mask hanging from the arcade machine over there. Like literally an old school, like I think World War II actually. I don't know. An old gas mask. I just think it's neat. I don't think it was neat the wars, but I like the memorabilia. I like the suit. I've seen like patches and hats and all kinds of stuff from the war. You know, my mother was in the war. She was smuggled out of Germany back in '43 because of Hitler, obviously. I mean, I don't need to tell you why, but she was smuggled out. If not, I wouldn't be here, I suppose. So, you know, thanks to my grandmother that had the wherewithal to be able to smuggle my mother out back in 1943. So anyways, I digress, as I always do. And I see kicks. We don't want too many kicks. Let's see. If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, so Robert says, why does the LOX or the liquid oxygen come out? It's not really, that's basically pressurization. It's pressurizing, and when there is excess, you're going to see some come out. You're going to see there's valves that balance the amount of pressure to a certain amount. It's the same thing that holds true with those turbo pumps that pump 700 and let's call it 725 psi into those 33 Raptor engines before ignition. They don't want to pump, 1,000 psi because you're going to start blowing seals and gaskets, right? You can start blowing it out, but you don't want to see 200 bars down or 20 bars down or 290 psi low like we saw last time. So let's hope that they got this all right. So yeah, it's not like pouring out because it's balancing, right? It's valves that are opening and closing based on PSI, based on pressure that is needed. So anyways, we'll keep on watching this. As you can see, we still have, let me give them credit. Down below, we have Lab Padres. That's their live feed going on. There's 4. And then on the other side, which is, I guess, this way? Yeah, over here, down below, we can see NSFs. Both having 4 screens. That's awesome. So we have 8 online. Once again, thank you to those guys over there. They spend a lot of time and a lot of money. Definitely full credit to them for all the work that they do for the entire community. It is a blessing for sure. So we see that arm is still connected, which we can see that's right where it is, like kind of that will be retracting back and coming across. That it is, we do see that there is onboarding of the LOX happening, which is great. So I think all in all, this is good. We see that there is motion going. If by now, I told you, if by 5:54 or 5:45, if we didn't see anything going on, it would be a problem. I don't think it's a problem. So they are onboarding the propellant, which is good. Once again, if you have any questions, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. Either which way, that helps out a lot. Another couple of things I just want to give you before they start their live coverage, just to kind of let you know what's going on. The dummy satellites. Now, a lot of people that are out there are Starlink users, like me, right? I started with Starlink about 45 months ago or so. I was just coming out of beta. I have a generation 2 like numbered 2000 or something, 2006 or something. So I have like one of the very beginning, first models when they moved out of the round dish. So I've been here since the very beginning, and I've been doing coverage on SpaceX Starlink ever since. About 440 videos now, all right? So once again, if you're new, check those videos out in my playlist. There's a lot of helpful how-tos and all kinds of stuff in there. Now, if you don't know, those Starlinks, those version 3s, okay, we just found out, which is amazing. Number one, the size, 21 feet by 8 feet by 10 inches. That's when they're folded up. 21 feet by 8 feet by 10 inches, each one. And then what's amazing is when it unfolds, when it's finally on orbit, right? When it unfolds, the whole thing becomes this massive, absolutely massive. It's 110 feet or 119 feet by like 24 feet or so by the smaller amount, 10 inches, whatever. But it literally folds out to 100 plus feet, 120 feet, let's call it, from that small 21 feet. That's pretty cool. So that sucks in a ton of solar rays to power it. That's a lot. That's a lot. I didn't know this. The other thing that I didn't know that I thought was just amazing is originally we thought that the SpaceX Starlink version 3s were going to be 4 times the size, but 10 times the capacity than the version 2 minis. But what we found out was that is not the case. What they said recently is that the version 3s are going to be 20 times the capacity, 4 times the size. They're literally the size of, the weight of them is like the size of a bus or something. I think they come in like right around, what is it, like 2,000 kilos? Yeah, 2,000 kilo. I think it's 2,000 kilos. So 4,400 pounds. It's like a bus. So they're heavy. It's not light, all right? So they're going to have 4 buses launched out through the Pez dispenser today, hopefully. And we're going to watch it. Anyways, instead of 10 times the capacity, 20 times the capacity, guys. That means that there's going to be a lot less congestion. We're going to find faster speeds, lower latency, and once again, less congestion. That is awesome. That's worldwide. It's going to be a major, major change. Major change. And all of those people in the locations that are now in a waiting list type of system that's going on, well, that's not going to happen. You're not going to have this waiting list anymore because you don't have the congestion. So that is a big thing, a very big thing. You know what? I'm going to have my tea, but I'm also going to have some Coke, I think, to kind of clear this up a little bit. This cold I've been fighting. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Anyways, guys, the other thing that they did was they completely removed, I'm almost positive, the landing legs. Remember how they had landing legs and then finally had the like landing stubs and nubs? And they got rid of all this. And now the dry weight of this Block 2 is lighter than the Block 1, which I think is really impressive. That means that the mass, it's a mass reduction that ended up happening. Lighter materials, but also they reduced things like the flaps, right? These flaps are now reduced. They're not the same size. They're not this big. They're smaller. And like I said before, instead of being at 180 degrees across from each other, they're now at 120 degrees. So they're tucked in, right? So when this thing is coming through, people are new here that haven't seen this demo before, as it's coming through, these are going to be tucked in to the dorsal side, right, of it, away from that plasma that's going to be pouring off it, which is a really good thing, right? A really good thing. That is a major, major change, a major change. So that is completely new, and we weren't able to see if it actually works. Why? Because it blew up. So, anyways, there's supposedly these Raptor engines are putting out more horsepower, let's call it. So instead of like, I don't know, 17 million pounds of thrust, it's supposed to be like, I don't know, over 20, maybe 21, 22, I don't know. Figure over 20 million pounds of thrust these 33 Raptor motors. It's just crazy. Can you imagine? 33 Raptor engines putting out over 20 million pounds. I mean, I guess you need that to be able to put such a structure this big into orbit, right? I don't know. Let me see here. Let me refresh real quick SpaceX and see if they have said anything new. If the time, nope, the time still says 5:55, and it is right now 5:52. So they should be going live any second. And once again, when they do, I'm going to shut up and we're going to listen to them for a little bit. And then I'll kind of come in between, in and out, just like I did on the last attempt. So bear with me here. This is definitely exciting. And I hope all of you guys find it to be exciting, because this is something that is really, really big. There's a lot going on here between block 1 to block 2. As I've said since the beginning, there is a major, major change. And if you were at the very beginning of the feed, I showed you guys, I put together a video just for you guys that showed you a, let's say, highlight reel of IFT launch 1 all the way through IFT 7. So if you haven't watched that, definitely go back and see that sometime, because it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. It's about 17 minutes long, I think it is, somewhere on there. But just to see where we've been and where we are now, that whole, that small history in time, but how many things have changed, is just a testament to how just absolutely focused Elon Musk is with this. I always say this: what NASA does in 10 years, Elon Musk will do in 10 months or less. That's just simply how it is. And that's why we see he's number one when it comes to rocket launching anything. It doesn't make any much of a difference. It doesn't matter if you're ULA, if you're Rocket Lab, if you're Jeff Bezos coming over there, Blue Origin. It doesn't make a difference. Nothing can possibly light a candle, not even a little bit, to what Elon Musk has done with SpaceX. So, that all being said, I think that this is just going to be an amazing, amazing flight, because we're going to see all of these new changes in works. If it works or it doesn't work, or if it runs, let's hope it doesn't run. It's going to be exciting either which way. But I want to see these flaps working, and working well, right? Where it controls the yaw and the tilt and the pitch and everything, all of the twisting that is done and the braking that is done as it's coming through to come back for a landing in the Indian Ocean. I want to see that work. I want to see that Pez dispenser work. I want to see the active cooling tiles, right? Instead of those ceramic tiles, now they're going to have some metallic tiles. They're going to have tiles that have active cooling, that most likely have some type of grid pattern behind them that has some type of cooling. Obviously, they have locks on there. They could run cooling through the backside of it. Now, having, instead of a passive cooled system, an actively cooled system. That will be amazing. So once again, there is a lot going on here. Before they go live, I'm going to check to see if there's any questions. If there's not, that's fine. Once they do go live, I'm going to be quiet. Let me see. I love that. Dutch Linux, I love that. The motors. Michael says, I feel like your videos have changed. I feel like now it's scripted and just you're reading stuff off. Okay, so Michael, yes, what I've done is that I'll do videos like I'm doing now, and we'll just talk about stuff. But what I've been doing lately is I've been finding articles that I think that a lot of you would be interested in, okay? And then either I'll read the article to you, and then, of course, I'll give you my commentary on it, and then, of course, I want to hear from you down below. But I like to read the article because a lot of you guys love that, because you don't have time to go through 50 plus articles like I do every day, right? And then come up with either a marrying or an amalgam of all of these different articles, and then I'll give you a synopsis. And then after reading that, then I'll do commentary. Now, it's a little bit different than before, but people have been liking it because they don't have time, once again, to read all of this stuff. So I kind of do it for you. Yes. So if you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. What do you like? What don't you like? I want to hear from everyone, because there's people that absolutely love stuff, other people don't. And I try to take like let's say a across the gamut and look at it all and then boil it all down and see what works the best, not only for you guys, but for me too, right? So I'm trying to put out more content, and in so doing, it's like I'm reading even more and I'm having to write even more than I used to, but I enjoy it. And I hope you guys, see my enjoyment and my enthusiasm for it. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Do you like the new format? Do you not? Some of these videos I've been going straight into it instead of doing my intro, my tea time intro. Some people love tea time intro. Some people don't. Everyone has a different thing. Let me know, actually, in the chat. Let me know now. I'd love to hear it. Excuse me, guys. This cold in my throat is it's killing me. It's absolutely killing me. My son got me sick, but that's all right. Shannon, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see. It says you need to get the mods like a bat phone. That would be interesting. We could just talk. A button one us mods can press and will activate a kick machine under the desk. I like it. You can make one. That would be interesting. You know what? Hold on. I'm putting a thumbs up on that because I like that. That's a really great idea. How about this, guys? How about if we have the moderators? All right, you guys tell me. How about if we have the moderators on every once in a while? And when I go live, we can have you guys down below with me. What do you think about that? Maybe not all of you, maybe one at a time, or maybe all of you guys. What do you think about that? Anyone want to do it? That's all you need to have is a good connection, a camera, a mic that doesn't sound like complete crap, and we're golden. We're good to go, guys. If it's something that you guys want to do, you let me know. Obviously, this will be for kind of off air, but email me. If you guys haven't emailed me, Mo, if you don't know how to email, and the rest of you guys, just email me. Peter, Shannon, email me, and we can have you on. It would be awesome to be able to sit and have a conversation, go back and forth, and still do all the stuff that we do. And you'll see how hard it is. But yeah, that'd be awesome. Dutch Linux says, great idea. There you go. Awesome idea. Get them on, right? Get the moderators on here talking with me. Let's do it. Let's do it. They know as much as I do about this stuff. And if not, we could just have some banter back and forth, right? I like it. I like it a lot. Who else likes it? In the chat, let me hear it. Gary says, what happens to the dummy Pez after it's put into orbit? So they put together great question, Gary. They put together a new, let's call it a sled. I don't know, Pez dispenser, right? That's going to launch out. It's spring loaded. I got to come up with pictures, right? Anyways, what it does, it comes out of it's like a bay door. This door opens up. It looks like a damn Pez dispenser. This kind of looks kind of funny, but I'm holding it anyways. Anyways, it opens this door, and then it rolls out on this cart and launches one, and spring loads and launches and spring lock like that. That's how it goes. And what happens to is it stays on board, and eventually when the Starship actually lands and gets caught in the Mechazilla arms, which will happen, I will speculate IFT-10. Quote me. IFT-10. They will try to attempt to catch it, and I think they will. Then they'll be able to reload it. But for now, it's going to end up in the Indian Ocean. Hopefully, they'll land it perfectly straight up and down. There's going to be a lot of video of that landing in the ocean because they need to make sure that it lands in the exact spot to the inch where it's supposed to land, because that's what they're going to need for it to come in and now land on the secondary Mechazilla arms that they're assembling over there at Boca Chica. But yes, so the Pez dispenser as of today is going to go into the drink. It's going to go into the ocean, and that's going to be at the end of it, the Indian Ocean. But in the future, it's going to be reused, and it's going to be simply reloaded launch it, and they're going to shoot them back out again. How long before blast off? That's from Phil. Well, let's see. Let me hit. There it is. There we go, guys. I'm flipping over. Let's see.
Was when we encountered lower than acceptable pressure on the ground spin start system for 2 of the outer engines on the Super Heavy booster. All Raptor engines use high pressure gas to start up, and we use gas stored on the ground side to start up the 20 outer engines on Super Heavy. By the time this automated hold appeared and the team started to work through it, we also triggered a hold on the booster LOX levels and had to call it for the day.
We were able to trace the spin system issue to just a misconfig on some of the ground hardware, so that had a really straightforward fix. We just took the time, though, to look into some of the other items that resulted in holds throughout the count, including some of our automation was triggering holds on the booster, which we were able to actually clear during that launch attempt by confirming the hardware was healthy, and we had some manual commanding backups. We also looked at some pop-up hardware and software issues on the ship, and just to put us in the best possible spot for a launch today, we destacked Starship, did some repairs inside a ship, and then ran some additional checkouts.
And that brings us to today, just about a month and a half after our last flight, which saw the second ever tower catch of the Super Heavy booster and the first flight of our upgraded ship, which unfortunately ended much sooner than we had hoped. It's important to remember that in development programs like this, progress is not always linear, and there is no comparison to putting flight hardware in a flight environment to learn as fast as possible. We always want to be in the best possible position to achieve our mission objectives, which is why we stood down from launch on our previous attempt and took the time over the last few days to get ready for launch.
Now, the objectives for today's flight going to look very similar to Flight 7. As always, primary payload for these flight tests is data. We are planning to deploy some simulated Starlink satellites and fly a range of experiments focused on reentry. We removed a whole bunch of tiles again from the ship for reentry testing, looking to really stress test it.
We'll also be intentionally stressing the flaps during reentry so we can test the limits of ship before we get ready to attempt future ship catches. So there is a lot of new testing happening today, and as always, excitement is guaranteed.
Now, just a real quick status check. So you could tell we're loading prop onto the vehicle. We're able to get through our prop load go, no go just about 40 minutes ago. And we are loading liquid oxygen, liquid methane on both vehicles, not tracking any vehicle problems, issues on either booster or ship. Weather is green right now. Winds at the pad are actually significantly lower than they are even just for us over here at the Star Factory. Just a couple mile difference makes a big change in those wind speeds. And range is currently projected to be go, but we are always watching any boats that are out there in the Ascent and the entry. Now, let's take a couple of minutes to meet today's vehicle. Sitting there on the pad, it's the world's biggest rocket, Starship.
Say thank you, everyone.
Starship consists of 2 stages, the ship, which has 6 Raptor engines, and the Super Heavy booster, which has 33 Raptor engines. Both stages are fully reusable. Super Heavy is the most powerful rocket ever flown and is designed to launch, return, and refuel, and launch again with 0 refurb between flights.
And then everything else you see around Starship, we refer to as Stage 0. That includes the towers. We've got our second launch tower stacked on the left side of your screen there, getting ready to come online later this year. It also applies to orbital launch mounts, our quick disconnect systems, everything on board. Also the water-cooled flame deflector, which is right underneath Starship. That's a particularly cool piece of engineering. It uses several 100,000 gallons of potable water to offset the pretty intense heat pressure coming out of those 33 Raptor engines at the bottom of the Super Heavy booster at the time of liftoff.
Now, you mentioned engines. Of the 6 Raptor engines on the ship, 3 of those are optimized for sea level performance and the other 3 for vacuum. Raptor Vacuum, or RVAC, well, those have a larger exhaust section and expansion nozzle to maximize efficiency in space, as there's no atmosphere up there. The ship as a whole is designed for vertical takeoff and landing on any hard surface.
The ship itself has 4 flaps that are used to control its attitude and enable precision landing during subsonic flight. And then for full reusability, the ship has to survive reentry not just once, but multiple times. It does that by using that heat shield, which is composed of those thousands of hexagonal ceramic tiles, which can insulate the vehicle during re-entry, temperatures spiking up to about 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit in some spots. And a rapidly reusable heat shield has never been flown on any vehicle in history. So continuously improving the one we have, Starship,
Shannon,
is still a
thank you
key
so
focus
much for those
of our flight test
free
campaign.
memberships.
And of course, in between our first and second stages is our hot
Say thank you to
stage.
Shannon and Peter, please.
Hot staging is when the second stage engines ignite while still attached to the first stage. There you can actually see a video of our previous hot staging maneuver, or executed on a previous flight, and how the ship's engines light while it's still ignited while the booster's engines are still firing. Basically, the rocket never stops accelerating, which makes it more efficient than traditional stage separation.
And then after we launch the booster, we also have to catch the booster. And we do that by using the 2 robotic arms, the same ones that lift Starship onto Super Heavy before we launch. They also catch the booster when it returns. It means we don't have to have any landing legs in the booster. That's a lighter booster. It means we can put more payload, more stuff going to space.
Thousands of criteria must be met before the booster can return and be caught. It requires a healthy systems and manual commanding from the flight director.
And just like on our previous flights, if that command's not sent before the end of the boost back burn, or if those automated health checks running in the background find any unacceptable conditions on the booster or the tower, they'll kick us out, and the booster can default to a landing burn and a soft splashdown out there in the Gulf.
Yeah, we've said it before. We'll say it again because it still holds true today. We accept no compromises when it comes to ensuring the safety of the public and our team. And the booster return will only take place if those thousands of conditions are right. So as the clock continues to tick down to launch, let's say hello to Chris, who's once again posted up in Hawthorne. How's it going, Chris?
Hey, Kate and Dan, and welcome everyone to Hawthorne, California. As you can hear and as you can see, the crowd is gathering. Excitement is really building here for Starship's 8th flight today. And speaking of flight, let's talk about the Raptor engines, which have quite a workout ahead of them today. Now, our Raptor engines are designed and manufactured right here in Hawthorne, and they have certainly accomplished some impressive things already. They've powered Starship in its first few flights around Earth, and they've helped bring 2 Super Heavy boosters back for a catch by the Mechazilla system at the launch site. But here at SpaceX, we're always looking to improve our designs, and we do this by using something that we call the algorithm. Now, for Raptor, the algorithm has helped us question the requirements for the engine, find the parts that we don't need, and then optimize the design for manufacturability and reuse. This allows us to simplify designs and drives us toward that rapid, reliable reuse. And as you can see on your screen here, it is definitely what we have done with the Raptor engine. Look at that beautiful family photo. You can really see how Raptor 3 is an unprecedented step forward in design. It eliminates the parts we don't need. It moves a lot of stuff inside the engine. And one thing that it also allows us to do is to delete the heavy engine heat shields that are used on the current version of Raptor today. And what that means is that when we switch to the Raptor 3 engine later this year, we'll be able to save about a metric ton of mass per engine. And when you multiply that by 39 or more engines, that's a lot of mass. And that mass savings actually helps us increase Starship's efficiency and the amount of payload that we're able to deliver to space and to Mars with Starship. But before we get to Mars, we still have a lot of important and critical development work to do. And it's flight tests like today's that help us do just that. Needless to say, the Raptor teams here in Hawthorne are very excited for today's flight and to see their hard work fly, just like all of our Starship teams are today for Flight 8. So Dan and Kate, back to you for some more info on Flight 8.
Raptor chill down.
Thanks, Chris.
Right now.
You mentioned development. Let's talk about things that we learned from our last Starship mission. In January, Flight 7 of Starship generated lots of important data. That data led us to change some of our pre-flight testing for today's flight. A major find from Flight 7 was the detection of a harmonic response that was much stronger during flight than anything we had seen during testing.
That's right. Rocket engines create incredible amount of noise, vibration that can pass through every component in the rocket itself. Flight 7, we saw those vibrations at a specific frequency. They were also strong in a strong enough amplitude that it was placing a lot of extra stress on some of Starship's propulsion system. And that's what most likely led to propellant leaks that then cascaded into fires and ultimately our loss of contact with the ship.
As part of our investigation, our team took this flight's ship through a 60-second static fire, which was 10 times longer than any previous static fire. The test cycled through throttle levels to recreate different conditions seen within the propulsion system during flight. You can see that on your screen now. We also tested hardware changes on fuel feed lines to Raptor's vacuum engines.
The additional data we got from this test specifically led to some new hardware that's installed in the RVAC fuel feed lines, which are also unique to this upgraded version of ship. Those feed lines look like large straws. They run through the oxygen tank, and those are delivering fuel directly to those vacuum engines. The new hardware was successful in significantly lowering the strength of that harmonic resonance and relieving the extra stress on the prop system. And then just in addition to new hardware, we made a couple of operational tweaks, adjusting things like the temperature of the propellant as it's being fed to the engines, also changing the throttle level that we're setting those engines at on Ascent.
We also looked at where fires broke out in the attic, which is the unpressurized space between the bottom of the ship's liquid oxygen tank and the engine heat shields. Fires here resulted in loss of ship on flights 2 and 7, so we took steps to make it more resilient to leaks. We added a hefty purge system that uses gaseous nitrogen. Similar to the carbon dioxide system on the booster, it floods the zone with an inert gas to help prevent a fire.
Yeah, we also increased the attic's just natural fire defense. We added some more vent holes that helps to keep that attic pressure close to vacuum. As Starship flies into space, makes it harder for a fire to ever exist. And then on the next generation ship, we're going to do the best thing possible and just start deleting some parts.
Yeah, the best part is no part.
The next generation of ship is going to use Raptor 3 engines, which are going to reduce that attic volume, and they're also going to eliminate most of the joints on the engines themselves that can leak into the space.
In the end, these changes represent the core of our test program. We fly hardware in a real-world environment, learn from the data, make updates, and fly again.
Yeah, guys, from
And then
Raptor
today
2
we're
to
going to be
Raptor 3
attempting
is
to do
about
everything that we didn't get to do on Flight 7.
or 7
so we're still
million
looking to get our first
pounds
re-entry with
of
the upgraded
thrust
ship.
more, I believe,
while
from
we're going
Raptor
to be
2 to
really
Raptor
intentionally stressing
3.
it again to get data on what the vehicle's boundaries are. So everything we've got ahead of us, as always, starts with liftoff, and that's super heavy, igniting those 33 Raptor engines, lifting off from the pad here at Starbase for that initial ascent. All 33 will burn for the first roughly 2 minutes before we get into hot staging.
For hot staging, the second stage will ignite its engines while still attached to the first stage. That will create that stage separation. The booster will perform a flip maneuver and head on back to the launch site here just behind us. Then we will hopefully see the third ever tower catch by the launch tower.
Meanwhile, ship completes its ascent burn, gets into its suborbital trajectory. We've got some extra things we're going to do in space, like deploy those Starlink simulators. Also going to be relighting one of the Raptor engines, one of the sea level engines, before we get into re-entry.
Yeah, that re-entry phase will test multiple experiments, including missing heat shield tiles, metallic tiles, and loading the vehicle's flaps. The ship will then perform a flip maneuver and hopefully achieve a soft water landing as we have seen before. We've got some buoy cams stationed out there to give us great daylight views of that splashdown in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, it's a lot, but again, we're really focused on finding what are the real world limits of Starship. We're doing it in this very remote area to find those limits before we get ready to return ship to the launch site and eventually catch it. And a lot of the upgrades we made to get to this version of ship are going to enable that.
Yeah, man, that's going to be exciting to see ship catch.
It's going to be wild.
Now, Ship 7 premiered a huge block of upgrades to add more capability to Starship, and we've carried them through to test on Flight 8 today. First, the forward flaps got a redesign. They have shrunk and shifted away from the ship's belly or the heat shield. You can see that on your screen there. This new position will reduce their exposure to heating during re-entry. We've also extended the length of Starship, and we've done this by 2 meters. This additional height gives us about 25% more propellant volume, which will aid in future longer duration missions. We also implemented propulsion upgrades, such as new fuel feed line system for the Raptor vacuum engines, as well as vacuum jacketing of feed lines and an improved propulsion avionics module.
And you've heard us talk, a lot of the experiments we're running today are focused on re-entry. We're intentionally removing a whole bunch of tiles all over Starship itself in this missing tile test. They're removed in critical areas this time, including over those propellant tanks, around some of the flaps, as we're really looking to use this flight to push Starship's capabilities. If we're not resilient to a missing tile and the backup ablative underneath, we need to know that. We also test a couple of different tiles on Starship, some metallic ones, one of which has some active cooling built into it.
There you go.
Avionics also
Sweet.
underwent a complete redesign
I wanna
with
know about
4
this active
upgraded
cooling. Did
Starlink
it work?
terminals. You can see the location there popping up on your screen. Those now combine Starlink navigation and radio frequency, as well as communications into a single unit. And non-structural versions of the ship's catch fittings have been installed to test thermal performance, i.e. do they survive re-entry, along with a smooth and tapered edge on the tile line to address hotspots we covered and saw in Flight 6.
And we've got some radar sensors on the tower catch arms again, as we're just looking at different ways to measure distance between the arms and a vehicle. These ones are actually protected by kind of a modified version of our heat shield tiles. Catching the ship's going to be a little different from catching a booster. One of the key things is it's going to do that flip right before its landing burn that rapidly reorients your antennas, which you're using for navigation. So those extra sensors on the ground side help just add more layers of control as ship and tower talk together for the catch.
And in another first, Starship will deploy 4 Starlink simulators. They are similar in size to our next generation Starlink satellites. Starship will have the ability to deploy our advanced V3 Starlink satellites, which will help further Starlink's impact in the coming years as we work to expand access to high-speed internet all around the world.
Each Starlink V3 launch is planned to add about 60 terabits per second of capacity to the Starlink network. To give you some perspective, that's about 20 times the capacity
20
we're adding
times.
right now with every V2 mini launch on a Falcon 9. Those Starlink simulators that we're going to deploy are on the same suborbital trajectory as Starship itself. They're expected to demise upon entry. Starship's trajectory looks super similar to our last couple of flights. Splashdown is targeted for the Indian Ocean. And then on top of all of that, again, we are planning to relight one Raptor engine while in space. That just helps us get data on the in-space burns and show Starship is capable of deorbiting.
Speaking of deorbiting, thanks to Starlink, one of the hallmarks of these Starship missions are the incredible views that we get throughout flight, and especially during reentry, as evidenced by many a phone and desktop background around here. Yeah. Every day, we're working to expand the Starlink network both on Earth and in space. For how this all connects us to the big mission, let's head back to Chris.
Thanks, Kate. Personally, I love all those epic views of the plasma wrapping around Starship during re-entry. Can't wait to see that later today. And fans of Starship may know that Starlink enables us to bring you lots of unprecedented views, both from space and here on Earth. Starlink is the world's largest satellite constellation operating in low Earth orbit today to deliver high-speed, low-latency broadband internet and connectivity, specifically for missions like Starship today. And as you can see on your screen, Starlink brings us many other views because of its capabilities. In addition to the dozens of cameras on Starship itself, we have mobile camera kits with Starlink deployed in the Indian Ocean, which is what you're seeing some footage of right now on your screen from a previous mission. You'll notice the Starlink mini dish in the foreground here as Starship lands in the background. Just what an image that captured.
That is amazing.
From an earlier flight. Now, Starlink also connects our aerial and cinematography units on the ground at Starbase, which will help us deliver the incredible drone shots leading up to launch today. And here on your screen, you can actually see us moving the flaps, preparing Starship for flight, making sure all of the aero surfaces that need to move during flight can do so in the way that we need them to. Now, on Starship itself, Starlink will enable Starship today to stream more than 120 megabits per second of real-time, high-definition video and telemetry in every phase of flight, including views like you're seeing right now of those flaps moving. This not only helps provide those views, but it also helps give our engineers an incredible amount of data to help us rapidly and iterate across all parts of the system as we move through our development program. And all of the streaming data today will definitely be put to good use with the more than 30 cameras on the vehicle for flight. But providing epic views is sort of a side quest for Starlink. Its main job is obviously to provide internet access for people around the world, many of whom who have never had connectivity before. Now, today, Starlink serves more than 125 countries, territories, and other markets with over 5 million active customers and counting.
They hit 5 million.
There are just so many inspiring ways that people are using Starlink all around the world and in space. And hopefully today, in a few minutes, everyone will get to see more inspiration about what our future in space looks like. And Dan and Kate, how are we looking for Starship's flight today?
T-minus 8 minutes, people. T-minus 8
Thanks, Chris.
minutes.
We are looking forward to those views as well. In fact, we're getting ready to launch Starship in just over 8 minutes. Now, as for a couple status updates, working no major issues on the vehicle. Range is emerald green, you could say. Everything looks great in terms of the sea and airspace here in the Gulf of America, as well as in the Indian Ocean. Of course, we want to make sure both areas are clear as the ship will be splashing down in the Indian Ocean while the booster's going to be coming back to
97,
us
98,
at the launch site,
85,
just a couple
and
miles
80
behind
on
Dan and I.
LOX.
Weather, you could call it a silver lining that we had to delay from Monday because holy moly, visibility is 1,000 times better today, and it's going to make for some really great views. Now, leading up to today, we did stack the vehicle later last night. Flight controllers reported to their consoles earlier today. The site was cleared and the range team was deployed.
That's right. And a lot of checkouts have happened just throughout the day, aligning our guidance, navigation, control, getting all the tanks ready for prop load, which has about 4 minutes left to go. You can see us almost topping out on ship, getting ready to top out on booster. And then it also includes getting all the ground support systems checked out, ready to go. Chopsticks were demated, did their wiggle test in advance of their upcoming catch opportunity. So as I just said, prop load's ongoing. We've got a little over about 4 minutes left until, or about 4 minutes. What's 7 minus 4? 4 minutes until we get to closeouts on ship and on booster. We did just hear that the range did pull again green. So we're not tracking any issues right now. Bottom line, things are looking great for launch at the top of our window at 5:30 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, very exciting. Now, once again, we are attempting to catch the booster at the launch tower. If that happens today, it will be the third ever booster catch. This is an aspect that I really enjoy, and it's how the vehicle announces that it is back.
It lets you know.
Oh, yeah. This comes in an audible sonic boom in the area around the return location, which occur when the booster slows down from traveling at supersonic speeds. Similar sonic booms were heard during the return and landing of NASA's space shuttle.
Yes, sonic booms are unique to vehicles returning from space. They're kind of a hallmark of reusable systems like our Falcon 9 rocket and Falcon Heavy. General impact to those in the surrounding area is that brief thunder-like noise. I've been fortunate enough to be here for all of them so far. They definitely let you know the vehicle's coming. Here's a little bit about what it's like to experience it.
This is awesome. Just listen to this crack. That does not get old. That does not get old. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. This will be the third time if they actually do it.
And as someone who grew up hearing those sonic booms as the shuttles landed in Florida and now hearing them for Falcon and Starship as well, they really are something to experience. And when you hear them, you just know it's a spaceship telling everyone that it wants to be reused. Great sounds. So as you can hear, the room is getting excited here in Hawthorne. The crowd eager to see Starship fly, as you can see. And here, now behind me in our flight control room here in Hawthorne, you can see some of our folks on console. They're assisting the flight controllers in Starbase, keeping an eye on all of Starship's various systems, including its avionics and those Raptor engines we talked about a little bit earlier. So Dan and Kate, with 4 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock, let's hit it back to you at Starbase and hopefully watch Starship.
Guys, by 3:20, by T-minus 3:20, it should be fully loaded with propellant. By 2:50, the booster propellant everything should be 100% ready to go. By 2:50, minus 250.
Weather are both very green, super green, if you will, and everything is looking good. Propellant loading
Awesome.
continues to happen. We're going to be closing out very
Still
soon.
24
on
mile
both
per hour
stages of
winds.
Starship.
Yeah,
24-mile-per-hour
we're
winds and
almost fully
52%
fueled on our
humidity.
tanks.
Still
We're
looks
going to
good.
see that closeout
It's
coming in just about
pristine
30
compared to
seconds
last
on
time.
ship. So that's both the main and the header tanks, and then about 30 seconds later on booster. Once prop load is complete, we got just shy of 1 million pounds of liquid propellant. That's liquid oxygen, liquid methane onto both vehicles. All of our ground systems will do what's called pushbacks. They'll clear all those feed lines. We're not continuously replenishing the propellant on board Starship or Super Heavy. That's why we essentially have several minutes where we can hang out at that T-minus 40 hold point before we start to run into issues with temperatures or just those LOX levels, or that LOX level on the booster is one of the main things that we watch. So we're also going to do a couple of final checkouts. We'll do one final one of the thrust vector control, the TVCs on the booster. We'll see them hopefully do a little bit of a wiggle test. The first one comes at about 1:40 before launch, and then the
Everyone
last
want
one
the dancing
comes right as
Elon?
we pass
Let's
that
put 'em on.
T-minus 40 gate. Again, if we need to hold, which we held a couple of times on Monday, we can do so at that T-minus 40 second.
We got
We're not
dancing
currently
Elon. Let's do
tracking
it. Let's
any
do it.
issues that would hold us there, but if we do run into
T-minus
that,
2
we can hang out for a
minutes,
couple
35
minutes.
seconds.
That would be the
That should be
point
all
in the countdown,
propellant
as
should
we
be
mentioned
loaded.
on Monday. That T-minus 40-second point is when we can
By T-minus
pause to hold
30
for final
seconds,
checkouts
that's
or
when the
pressurizations
flight
if
director will
necessary.
say go, no go.
But once
So
we
we're getting
pass that
close.
T-minus 40-second mark, a number of things are going to occur in rapid succession. The ground spin and ignition systems will come up to flight pressure. The ship goes to internal power, and after that, the quick disconnect or QD arm lockout, that's removed in preparation for retraction shortly after T0. Once we pass T-minus 40 seconds, as we saw on Monday, we had the ability to recycle the count under certain conditions back to that T-minus 40 second mark and hold there to assess what happened and if we're able to proceed to T0.
And like we said, that we can hang out at T-minus 40 for several minutes before we start running into some limits, essentially.
Let's go, guys. T-minus
on
1
our-
minute,
on our
38
propellant on
seconds.
board. There are a couple of other things, like if we pass the
It
T-minus
looks
10
good.
second
It's looking
point,
really good.
and the water starts to flow in that flame deflector, and we scrub, that's automatic scrub for the day. Oh, there's our TVC, our thrust vector control checkout. It's got a little bit of a wiggle there on those inner Raptor engines, those 13 inner ones, which are going to be used for that boost back burn and the landing burn. So
Sweet.
cool to see those.
Yeah.
That works.
I love
That's
that
good.
shot. We don't have that on Falcon, and it's just so cool to see really the business end of the Super Heavy booster.
Right. So the last time when they tried spinning up those turbo pumps, the turbo pumps were pumping 20 bars too little fuel. That's 290 psi less than what it needs to be. So this time, let's hope that those turbo pumps are spinning up and the vehicle is actually receiving all 700 plus psi of fuel to fire those Raptors up.
All right, we are going to hold at T-minus 40.
Come on!
We're watching the temperatures on the ship right now for the ship fuel. Sounds like they're working through that. We might be able to release that hold shortly.
No!
All
Temperatures,
right, sounds
fuel
like we're going to be able to
temperatures.
reset those holds, not tracking any other holds.
There we go,
And
38.
clock
We're
is
doing
rolling.
it. We're doing it, guys. I'm going to leave Elon dancing
And the
here.
clock is rolling once again. We're now T-minus 30 seconds till the liftoff of
Contact
the
at 1,
8th flight of
vectors, go for launch.
Starship.
He said go launch.
Our flight director, Joe Schleicher, today is go for launch.
Go launch, go
Let's
launch.
listen in as he takes us through the final
This
seconds
is
of
it,
the
guys. Come on.
Minus 8, 7, 6,
Let's do it, guys. This is it.
3, 2,
Oof. Oh,
we got liftoff.
that's just amazing. Look at that.
Vehicle pitching that range.
Holy God. The largest rocket in the world. In the world.
Booster average gets pressure nominal.
Man, absolutely amazing.
little over 40 seconds. A little over 40 seconds into the flight, we are
Booster
seeing
shift.
Holy
33
God.
out of
Telemetry nominal.
33 Raptor engines ignited.
And you look at the bottom, you can see all of them
Boosters
are lit.
pushing us downrange
All are
over the
lit.
Gulf. Next milestone coming up in just under 10 seconds is going to be max Q, that max aerodynamic pressure.
Max Q.
Max Q, 1 minute, 2 seconds.
All right, so we're through max Q. That's the heaviest
Per-
stresses. It's kind
Everything
of seen on
is
the
still
way
lit.
Up. Wow,
This is
that
good.
was pretty incredible.
At
I'm
2
still
minutes,
recovering.
32 seconds, we'll hit
That
Meko,
was
so we'll see
amazing.
what ends up happening with that. That's where we
Beautiful
get the
views of
engine
the vehicle
cutoffs.
on Ascent, pitching downrange away from the launch tower.
Next thing coming up is hot staging. So we're going to look for 6 engines to ignite on ship while we're still attached to the top of the booster. We'll see all but those 3 center engines shut down on booster.
That's right around 2 minutes, 40 seconds. See hot staging. Come on, come on. Still, everything is lit, all 33.
We're hearing the initial call that we are go for booster catch. Back
That will be
here
catch
at the
number
launch
3,
tower.
the trifecta. Thank you so much, Shannon, for the gifts. Gift memberships
Now
from
on hot
Shannon.
staging, the
100
ship's
gifts.
engines
That is
will
a
ignite
lot.
while still attached to
Thank you so much.
the
Say
Super
thank
Heavy
you to
booster,
Shannon.
and also while Super Heavy booster will still be under power itself.
Here we go. 5
Lamps
seconds.
holding the 2 stages together
2,
are going to release.
1.
Starship
Here we
second
go.
stage engines will
Booster engine
ignite.
cutoff.
Hot staging. Boom. Sweet.
Ship engine startup.
Perfect. Perfect. And now
Stage
we can
separation.
see. Oh no, there's 2 engines out. There's
Respect,
there's 2 engines out on the inner ring. Do you see it, guys?
There we
There's
go.
2 engines out.
Ship engines, all 6 Raptors ignited. We're doing that boost back burn. Looks like we got 11 of the 13 that we command for
Go for
that,
booster
so
return.
that's going to start sending the booster back. We are still go for booster return, even with 2 Raptors out during that boost back. We can do a full duration one. But
chamber push is nominal.
looks like we got a ship, 6 engines heading into space.
Come on,
And
guys.
then we got a booster hopefully on our way back to Starbase. How's everything going in Hawthorne, Chris?
They should still be okay
Everything
for that
is
boost
looking
back.
good. The crowd eagerly followed that ascent and now watching the booster coming back. So as you can see on the left-hand side of your
I
screen
just don't
here,
know if
that
they're
is
gonna
ship
catch it with
continuing
11
on.
out of
That's a
13.
great view of ship continuing on its way to space. They're looking, that's inside the camera, inside the aft skirt, looking
Three
at the
are on.
Raptor vacuum and the sea level
The
engines.
3 are
The
those
sea level ones there
gimbaling.
in
They
the
actually
center
all
of your
go,
screen under
but
our
the
T++
center
clock.
3
You can
gimbal a
see our
lot
boost back
to
burn.
really
We're
get
down
it
to 3
to
engines
adjust
on the
and
boost
dial
back
it into
burn.
the exact spot it
And
needs
you
to
can
be
see
to be
ship
caught.
on the right-hand side of that telemetry with 6 engines lit, continuing its ascent to orbit, already over 100 kilometers in altitude. The booster 87 kilometers in altitude and continuing its trek right now back to the landing site and catch site. There's a,
Back shutdown.
and we just heard a good call out for boost back shutdown.
Okay.
The next thing we should see on our screen is the separation of the hot stage from the Super Heavy booster. We jettison that because we do not need it for the landing, but on future iterations of the Super Heavy, that hot stage ring will be incorporated into the booster and we will get it back. But for today, you can see it on the right-hand side of your screen there, just separating off of from the right-hand side of the booster. You can also see the booster doing its liquid oxygen dump there, which is exactly what we would expect for it to do as the booster gets itself configured for the landing here.
When they fire
Now,
those
meanwhile,
engines up, they might
Starship
all
will
13
continue to
relight.
coast
We
after
don't
it
know,
reaches
so we'll see what
orbit for about
happens.
40
Let's hope
minutes
so.
or so, up to an altitude of 214 kilometers, but it's still got a ways to go there. Currently accelerating past 7,500 kilometers per hour there in velocity. And just look at those great views of the booster coming back. The Gulf coastline there just looks absolutely gorgeous.
Starship is on a nominal trajectory.
And there
That's
we
good.
hear nominal
Nominal.
trajectories all around.
They're
And
gonna
Dan and
catch
Kate,
this thing.
we're
They're
at
gonna catch
5
this.
minutes, 15 seconds here into the flight. Everything looking good for the Super Heavy and for Starship today. What's it like there at Starbase as we get ready to catch?
It was incredible,
Yeah.
Chris, to be able to see the mock diamonds with my own eyes. That was amazing. We are standing by for return of booster back to the launch tower. We have heard that we are go for the catch
We're
of
about
the
40
booster.
seconds away from
Yeah,
them
this
relighting
coming
those
from one of our
engines. Let's see if all
long-range
13
tracking
come on
cameras,
or
we're able to
not.
see the
I hope
hot
all
stage separate
13
and
pop
fly
in.
away.
We'll see.
So coming up in just about 30 seconds, we're going to look for the landing burn. We're going to
Raptor
command
chamber push is
those
phenomenal.
13 inner and middle ring engines
Here we
to
go.
turn on. 13 initially, they bleed off all of that
Come on.
velocity as we're slowing down from supersonic speeds, eventually moding down to only 3 engines for that precision flight into the tower.
Right now, booster using its 4 hypersonic grid fins to help guide itself through this atmospheric entry back for its precision landing at the launch site.
Look at the heat
Once
build
again,
up.
we're going to ignite first the center 13 engines.
Here we go.
To see that coming up here
Landing burn
momentarily.
startup.
There's
Engines
one.
startup.
So they got 12 on. So one of
This
those
is gonna come
actually
down to
relit.
3 engines as the booster
There you
slows
go.
down for
As long as they got
its-
these 3 working, we're good.
And we just heard the sonic boom.
So there it is. There it is. This will be catch number 3. The trifecta.
What
Come
an
on.
incredible sight to see the super heavy booster gliding down
Booster
into the
burn
chopstick
shutdown.
arms once again. Take a look at the
Did it. Awesome. Look at that. Holy
Stuck the
God.
landing.
Man.
Wow.
But you saw how one extra engine turned
That
on. So
will
there was 2
never
off
get
before.
old.
Ray relit, and then there was only 1 not
Alright.
working. Man.
We saw 12 out of 13 light for that landing burn. Booster still able to make its way with that final precision burn on the 3 engines in for the
Perfect.
tower catch. So
Look at
booster
that.
caught.
Unbelievable.
Meanwhile, keeping an eye on ship. Still got 6 Raptors burning. Those are going to continue for about another minute until we'll get to the Starship engine cutoff. Really cool view. Again, a million shout outs to all of our avionics team who make these cameras possible for us. That's looking
Thank you again, Shannon,
right
for
down
those
inside,
100
essentially the
free
skirt area
memberships.
of
If you
ship,
received a free
where you
membership,
can
please
see
say thank you to
a
Shannon.
pretty good view of all 6 Raptors, especially those 3 inner ones, one of which we're going to hopefully relight a little bit later.
Dominic says, come on, salad tongs. Salad
And
tongs
we
work.
just saw some
The
engines
chopsticks.
go out. It looks like we are losing attitude control
Oh,
of the ship.
shit. You see that all the engines are out but 2? What the hell? Oh, no. Look at it. See the roll? You see the roll? Just watch your lower right hand. Ay, ay, ay. No!
Ship MTS is saved.
They're going to have to. Oh,
So we're
come
still
on.
getting video down from the ship. You can see we've lost several engines and we've lost attitude control of the vehicle.
They're going to have to pop it. They're going to pop it. God. If you're in the Turks and Caicos Islands, you might see this again. God. What is going on? What is up lately? That is so weird. There you go. Stand by. All right. So we still got.
So we'll
just
continue to stick
keep
with
watching
it.
telemetry. When you see telemetry stop, that's when they blew it up. Just keep watching
For those of you that
speeds and
have-
watch
For
altitude.
those
Watch
of
the
you that
telemetry.
Just, recently joined us. We
Now there's
had,
only 1 engine
A
left.
successful liftoff of the 8th test flight of Starship, followed by.
But
a
there's still
successful-
telemetry.
a
That thing
successful
did not
stage
blow up
separation.
yet.
We saw the booster actually. You can see it just behind us here. The booster had a successful catch.
Now
back at
all
the
engines
tower.
are out. Everything's out.
Unfortunately, it seems as though we lost the attitude control of the ship. We are standing by as we listen in with the teams on the nets to understand.
Let's see what they said.
What information we're able to provide you. We will provide that as soon as we are.
I'm surprised
able,
they shut
but
telemetry
it's
down.
Pretty incredible to take a moment.
I
and
would like
see
to have
the
seen when
booster
it
just
actually
behind us.
popped, but
Certainly a different
if
view
once
than
again,
last
if
time.
you're in
And
the
at this
Bahamas or
point,
you're of
we've
the Turks and
successfully
Caicos
lost
Islands,
contact
chances
with
are
the ship. We're
look
no longer
overhead.
receiving
You might see
telemetry at this
something.
moment. So we were only about
Ah.
20 seconds away or so from the end of that ship Ascent burn. We saw several of the engines start to
Yeah,
cut
it was
out.
like right there.
Once you lose enough of those center engines, you're going to lose attitude control. And so we did see the ship start to go into a spin. And at this point, we have lost contact with the ship. So we're going to listen in for a little bit. I think it's pretty obvious we're not going to continue the rest of the mission today, but Just give us a couple more minutes. We'll bring you more information as it comes in.
Oh, man, guys. I tell you what, they're working hard at figuring out what went wrong, and obviously something was wrong with those engines. And I don't know what is going on lately with those Raptor engines. I just feel like it's a fueling thing. I don't know for sure, obviously. It just feels like there's just something. When they made the change, when they went from Block 1 to Block 2, and they extended the ship by that, what is it, couple of meters, whatever it is, those 6-9 feet or whatever, when they extended it for the extra 25% of propellant, for some reason, like something in that change has just screwed things up. So maybe once again, some of the lines came, loose. Maybe it was a harmonic balance, or a harmonic imbalance that happened, a harmonic resonance that made that vibration and pop those feeds, those lines loose. It just feels like when you get that many engines go like this, something's up. All right, it doesn't, if you get one go, and then all of a sudden another one and another one, you can see it. But I think there was like 3 that went like immediately. And as soon as you get, like they said, one of those inners that go, that's the guidance, that's the steering that goes on, Those are full gimbaling. They gimbal. Just like when you saw that the Super Heavy ended up coming in for that landing. Those 13 that initially all blast off and slow the vehicle down, those are just there to slow things down. So if they have 11 or they have 10, they could still make that happen. If those 3 in the middle were not on and there was only 2, they would immediately have aborted it into the Gulf of America, for sure. Because you need those to be able to guide. And obviously, when we see one of the inners go out and then 2 of the outers on the ship, you knew that it's going to start doing this deal. It can't keep, it cannot keep from spinning basically out of control, right? So, yeah. That's just really disappointing. Once again, another batch of 4 SpaceX Starlink version 3 dummy satellites that are not going to see orbit or suborbit. Man, it was close, guys. It was close. But they did hit the trifecta here, right? They did hit that hat trick, or however you want to call it, and they pulled that Super Heavy down, and it landed picture perfectly. Mechazilla arms closed on it, and you can see it there just ready to go again. I mean, they got that down. And like I said at the very beginning, right? It feels like the ship is where the issue seems to be now. Originally, they had problems with the Super Heavy and those engines.
Real quick. So can confirm we did lose contact with the ship. Unfortunately, this happened last time too, so we've got some practice at this now. We've got a lot of measures in place, like debris response areas where we coordinate very closely with air traffic control. We have a lot of measures put before we ever launch a rocket to make sure that we're keeping the public safe. Those worked last time, and they're actively in work right now. So just to recap real quick, everything we saw, we lifted off right at the top of our window, essentially at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Booster was able to get us all the way up into space, made its way back here. It's sitting on the tower right behind us, our 3rd ever catch. Starship ignited all 6 of its Raptor engines. It was just about 20 or 30 seconds away. We'll get exact times from the end of its Ascent burn when we started to see some engines go out on ship. Eventually lost attitude control and then lost contact with the ship shortly after. So obviously a lot to go through, a lot to dig through. We're going to go right at it. The primary reason we do these flight tests is to learn. We have some more to learn about this vehicle, but we're going to be right back here in the not too distant future, and we're going to get a ship to space.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We fly to learn, and we're learning a lot. And as is the case with developmental programs such as the Starship program, progress isn't always linear. So at this point, we're going to close out our webcast for the day. But before we do, we'd like to give a shout out to our viewers, of course, as well as our partners, both here in Cameron, here in Cameron County and around the world. Now, once we know more about the mission today, we'll provide you with updates on SpaceX.com as well as at SpaceX on X. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
And there you go. And there you have it. let's go ahead and turn them off. Well, it's kind of a shame. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and switch back. Let's switch back over here to this feed, so we can say once again, SpaceX is over here, which is obviously off. Then down just below me is what is it? Lab Padre, and then of course on the other side, I guess over there would be NSF. So, look. The way I look at this is, like I said before, I feel like there is a problem going on that started with the move from Block 1 to Block 2. And nothing changed with these Raptor engines. It's still the same Raptor engines. If they were using Raptor 3s, right? They didn't use them yet. So if they were using Raptor 3s and we see these Raptors going out, we can say, oh, you know, maybe there's something, because you see how minimalistic the Raptor 3 engine is compared to a Raptor 2. And God forbid you look at a Raptor 1, it looks like a spaghetti mess, right? Raptor 3s are slick. So you would say, oh, well, maybe there's something wrong with the Raptor 3. That's not happening. They're still using Raptor 2s, and we know that they work, and we know that they don't go out. We know that they are like nothing like they were at the very beginning. If you remember at the very beginning, Super Heavy was having a hard time because not all 33 were lit. There was constantly a engine going out due to a fire, due to a leak, due to this, that, or the other thing. That's not a problem anymore. We can see Super Heavy is on point now 3 times in a row. The thing does not go out. Everything is lit. Everything is working out well. But what we're seeing is, once again, something with the Starship. And the only thing I can think of is the only thing that really changed was that move from Block 1 to Block 2. And when they made that move, they extended the size of the ship. The lines are different. They've also vacuum pressurized the fuel lines, meaning that there's a sheath. All right. Let's say if you have a fuel line that's like this, they put a sheath around the fuel line, and then they pull a vacuum basically on the interior of that. It basically gives more protection, thermal protection, by doing it. So you have your line that has super cool liquid in it, and then you have this protective sheath that goes around it. Well, something with that just is not right. Obviously, they changed things up with it, and whatever they did is either calling once again, this could be another harmonic thing, that harmonic resonance where you get that shudder and that vibration, and then it just loosens stuff up. But that might not be the issue, and the reason being is once it gets into where it was, it's already went through a lot of the force, right? It's already experienced a lot of it. So at that point, you know, maybe things vibrated loose during that hot staging where it broke free and then started taking off on itself. That's possible. But we saw those engines go out not that long after it broke free. So what the heck is up with that? I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of. Anything else that you guys can think of in the chat, I would love to hear from you, because obviously it's kind of, it's kind of a bummer because, we didn't get to see, but you know what we're going to do? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to go back to it. All right. Let me go and flip back over. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to get rid of Elon. Elon's going to have to dance somewhere else for now. Because I want to see these engines. Let's take a look at these engines and see what the heck is going on here. All right. So let's back this up a little bit. Okay. So hot staging usually happens at T plus. What is it? 6? Is it 6? Yeah. So hot staging would be, let's see here. I think it'd be 3. So yeah. All right. So 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring this back. So right now, what are we at here? We are at 6. All right. 7. We're going to move this into 240. So let's move this back. Here we go. So we are now at 205. All right, 209. I'm going to run this. We're going to give it some audio here so we can hear what the heck is going on. Let's rerun this. Let's see if we can get this thing to work. Will it work?
Coming up now on hot staging, the ship's engines will ignite while still attached to the Super Heavy booster, and also while Super Heavy booster will still be under power itself.
All right, let's see how long. All right, how long are these engines,
Clamps holding the two
all
stages
6, fired up
together,
before they start going out? All right, here comes the hot staging right around 2 minutes 40, somewhere around there. There you
Ship
go.
engine startup.
There you go. Ship engine startup. Here's your hot staging. Boom.
Stage separation.
There it is. Okay, good. We have all 6
startup.
engines lit now. We're at 250, 251.
There we go.
Everything
Ship
is
engines,
good.
all 6 Raptors ignited. We're doing that boost back burn. Looks like we got 11 of the 13 that we command.
So we're
for
at
that.
3
That's gonna
minutes.
start
Everything
sending
is on. 3
the
minutes.
booster back. We are still go for booster return, even with 2 Raptors out during that boost back. We can do a full duration one. But
chamber push is nominal.
looks like we got a ship, 6 engines
312.
heading into space, and then we got
Still
a booster
all
hopefully
engines
on
are
our way
on.
back
So
to Starbase. How's everything going in Hawthorne, Chris?
Everything is looking good. The crowd eagerly followed that ascent, and now watching
altitude,
the booster
88
coming back.
kilometers,
So as you can see on the
89,
left-hand side of your screen
90.
here, that is ship.
You see we're speeding up
continuing,
now.
and, that's a great view
91.
of ship continuing on its way to space.
92.
They're looking. That's inside the camera, inside the aft skirt, looking at the Raptor vacuum.
So
and the
we're a
sea
minute
level
into
engines,
it
the
already,
sea level ones
and
there in
they're
the center of
still
your
all
screen
lit.
under our T+ clock. You can see
97.
our boost back burn. We're down to 3 engines on the boost back burn. And you can see ship on the right-hand side of that telemetry with 6 engines lit, continuing its ascent to orbit,
101.
already over 100 kilometers in altitude. The
We're
booster,
still fully
87
lit.
kilometers
4
in
minutes and
altitude
1
and
second
continuing
into
its
it.
trek right now back
So
to the landing site. And
everything
catch
is
site.
good.
There's a
shutdown.
So this
and
has
we just heard a
nothing
good
to
call
do.
out for boost back shutdown.
So this
The
has
next thing
nothing
we
to
should see
do
on our screen is the
with
separation of the hot
separation?
stage from the Super Heavy booster. We jettisoned that because we do not need it for the landing, but on future
So now
iterations
we're
of
at
the Super Heavy,
420.
that hot stage ring will be incorporated into the booster, and we will get it back. But for today, you can see it on the right-hand side of your screen there, just separating off of from the right-hand side of the booster. You can also see the booster doing its liquid oxygen dump there, which is exactly what we would
440.
expect for it
So
to
that's
do as the
exactly
booster
2
gets
minutes
itself
after
configured for
the
landing
hot
here.
staging. 2 minutes.
Now, meanwhile,
These things are
Starship
burning,
will continue
and
to
the
coast
speeds are
after it reaches
increasing, so
orbit
you
for
know they're
about
burning
40
hot.
minutes or so,
They're not
up to
like
an
failing
altitude
or
of
anything.
214
We're at
kilometers, but it's still got a
120
ways to go there.
kilometers.
Currently accelerating past 7,500 kilometers per hour there in velocity. And just look at those great views of the booster coming back. The Gulf coastline there just looks absolutely gorgeous.
Starship is on a nominal trajectory.
And there we
Starship
hear
nominal
trajectories
trajectory.
all around.
Everything
And,
is
Dan and
good.
Kate, we're at 5
Everything is
minutes,
good. Now we're at
15
5:15.
seconds here, into the flight. Everything looking good for the Super Heavy and for Starship today. What's it like there at Starbase as we get ready to catch?
Let's see when this thing goes
It
south.
was
Let's see.
incredible, Chris, to be able to see the mock diamonds with my own eyes. That was amazing.
540. So we are now 3 minutes into this burn at 131 kilometers, going 9,500 kilometers per hour.
The catch of the booster.
Yeah, this coming from one of our long-range tracking cameras, we're able to see the hot stage separate.
So this is not
away.
harmonics.
So
This
coming
is
up in
not
just about
anything
30
like that.
seconds, we're going to look for the landing burn. We're going to command
Raptor chamber push is
those
nominal.
13 inner and middle ring engines to turn on. 13 initially, they bleed off all of that velocity as we're slowing down from supersonic speeds, eventually moding down to
Overheating,
3 engines
Greg
for
says.
that precision
Possible.
flight into the tower.
Right now,
But look at the
booster using its
speeds.
4 hypersonic
It's
grid fins to help
136
guide itself
kilometers.
through this
It's not
atmospheric
going up
entry
as
back
fast.
for
That's
its
fine because it's coming
precision
around this
landing
way.
at
That's
the launch
okay.
site.
Speed is actually increasing.
Once again,
Everything
we're
is
gonna
still
ignite
lit. We're
first
at
the
640.
15 engines.
Coming up 640. That's 4 minutes into this burn. That is a long time. So this is nothing to do with
Come down
hot
to
staging.
3 engines as the booster slows down for its landing. And we just heard the sonic boom. What an incredible sight to see the super heavy booster gliding down into the chopstick arms once again.
There we go, 7 minutes.
Stuck the landing.
Wow. That will never get old.
7 minutes. And it's coming up on 7:40.
We saw 12 out of 13.
That's going to be 5 minutes into this. So yeah, someone said possible overheating, something like that.
Precision burn on the 3 engines.
They're obviously getting plenty of fuel right now.
Meanwhile, keeping an eye on ship. Still got 6 Raptors burning. Those are going to continue for about
7:40.
another
So it's
minute,
exactly 5 minutes now.
until we'll get to the Starship engine.
So the
tunnel.
burn was only to be for another
Really
minute
cool
longer,
view.
and then that's
Again,
it.
A million shout outs to all of our avionics team who make these cameras possible for us. That's looking right down inside essentially the skirt area of ship where you can see
Bob, how you doing, Bob?
all 6 Raptors.
You sent me a video? All right, let me go and let me go. There you go. Boom, right now. 8:01. 8:01. Do you see what just happened? Now 8:10. Let me just back this up. Watch what ends up happening. We're at 8:01. Watch what happens here. 8:01, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's 3 out. Now there's 4 out with 2 left. And that's at, like, let's say 8:05 or something. So 5 minutes into it. Bob, I'm going to go take a look at email. Unbelievable. I mean, so this thing was literally moments before shutting down. It only had a minute left of burn. Like, what is going on with that? That is absolutely crazy. All right. Bob, thank you for this. Let me see. I'm going to play this for everyone. Hold on, guys. We have video from Bob of this RUD. We have video from Bob of this RUD. So hang tight. We're going to play this for you guys. We're going to play this for you. Hang in there. Let me get it on the screen. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of this and this. Let's see if we can do this. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. We're doing this on the fly, but we do have imagery of this explosion. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Let me see if we can bring that over. Will that come over? Hang in there. All right. Good. Let me do this and this. Let me see. Does that work now? Hold on. There it is. Okay. Okay, folks. I'm going to bring this. It's going to be that's as big. This is going to be straight up and down. So just hang in there. Hang in there. All right, here we go.
I think this is Starlink coming down. I think it's crashing right here by the Keys. I'm not sure, but I believe it is, and I believe it's going to hit the bridge that I'm supposed to cross. This is kind of freaking me out. I think this isn't good.
This is live footage from the Keys.
I think this is Starlink coming down. I think it's crashing right here by the Keys.
Not Starlink, but Starship.
I believe it is, and I believe it's going to hit the bridge that I'm supposed to cross. This is kind of freaking me out. I think this isn't good.
There you go, guys.
I think this is Starlink.
So that's actually seen from the Florida Keys. From the Florida Keys. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. So as we can see, Bob, thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate that. That's what it looks like from the Florida Keys. That's what I said. If you're in the Turks and Caicos Islands, chances are you're going to see another explosion overhead of the Starship being detonated. So, once again, RUD. A rapid, unscheduled disassembly or boom. Which is kind of sad. But if you think about it, when we look at this, okay, and see that they just finished saying just a moment ago that it only has a minute left of burn time when they were going to cut this thing out anyways, and that's when it went south.
The Starship
I mean,
engine
it is,
cut off.
it's crazy.
Really cool view.
Hang in there one second. Let's get that back.
Meanwhile,
Yeah,
keep
right
an eye
now,
on ship.
I think he
Still got
says that
some
it's 1
Raptors
minute
burning.
left.
Those are going to continue for about another minute.
Another minute. So
until we'll get to,
8:40.
The Starship engine cut off.
So there you go. So at 8:40, at plus 8:40 was engine cutoff. And the thing went south, like literally went south at 8:05. So the engines were burning for over 5 minutes. So what happened between that time? I don't know. It really doesn't make any sense at all. It makes absolutely no sense. And as you can see with that video footage that was sent to us here, I mean, there it is actually blowing up, or you can see it blowing up over the Keys.
I think this is Starlink coming down. I think it's crashing. Right
Starship,
right
not Starlink, obviously.
I'm not sure, but I believe it is, and I believe it's going to hit the bridge that I'm supposed to cross.
It's not going to hit the bridge, but yeah.
I think this isn't good.
I think this isn't good. I love that. That's good. I think, guys, this isn't good. It looks like something is blowing up overhead. It's not a good thing. Bear in mind, even when you were at the Turks and Caicos Islands, when this thing blew up, when it blew up overhead, when it's at such an altitude that even if you can see it overhead, it is so high that it's not going to come into the water for miles and miles down the road. You know what I mean? So anyways, regardless, this is a perfect example. All right. So people ask me all the time, why does Elon Musk want to launch out of Florida? All of the commercial launches, everything, and just do prototyping and beta testing, all that kind of stuff out of Texas. The reason being is when they launch a rocket out of Texas, it has to thread a eye of a needle. And the eye of the needle is basically like Cuba and the end of the entire country, right? Which would be Key West. And Key West to Cuba is so close that you can use binoculars and actually see it. And it's actually threading basically a needle and going in this direction over this area to keep the ship over water for the maximum amount of time and not have it over land. Now, that being said, when they launch out of Cape Canaveral or the Space Coast, or now it's going to be X out of there. Well, when they launch out of there, they can launch straight over Bahamas or straight over the ocean and not even have to worry about anyone, right? They don't have to worry about this anymore. Right now, it's a little bit worrisome because once again, they're threading the needle and making sure that they keep that rocket over land for a minimal period of time. It's only going over the end, let's say Key West or Cuba, for a short duration. And they know when they can explode this thing and make sure that the pieces are going to be far enough away based on speed, trajectory, and all the rest of the stuff. So even though they didn't show telemetry, that doesn't mean that telemetry wasn't still coming through. Normally, they will show telemetry until it stops. When telemetry stops, you know that it's gone. It blew up. They didn't show it this time. They saw that you see it doing the barrel roll thing, the roll of death, and then they just turned it off. So we don't know how much further, how much longer until they pulled the trigger. Or did it automatically pull its trigger, pull the cork, and blow itself up? We don't know. But either which way, this is the kind of stuff that ends up happening. I'm really excited about what's going to happen in the future with this whole Pez dispenser and getting those satellites out there. But they really need to get this Starship right because Super Heavy is right. Once again, they hit the trifecta. It is working. All 33 Raptor engines are lit. They come back down. They did have the inner 13. They did go down to 11 Raptor engines working. Okay. But even like I said, when they relight, okay, to slow the Super Heavy down, those ones that were off, they might come back online. That happens sometimes with jets. My base going in. So it was coming through, and sure damn enough, that's exactly what happened. One of the duds, the ones that were out, didn't relight, but one that was out before, because there was two, did relight. So when it came back in to slow the vehicle down, 12 were lit instead of 13. Okay, that's plenty. They don't need more than that. Just like I always tell you guys, if the three inner engines, those Raptors in the three, those highly gimbaling engines in the middle, if they go out, they need to detonate that thing, because now they do not have control to be able to land it where they need to land it. So, but the three were fine. And once again, they relit 12 of the 13. It wasn't a problem at all. They could have relit probably 8 and slowed it down enough, honestly. That said, they need to figure this out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we look at it like, what caused this? What's the main reason behind it? And honestly, we just don't know. We really don't know. We're going to have to listen to them and see what they have to say about it. But either which way, Shannon says, check the email for another video. All right. I'm checking my email. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go ahead and check my email. Yes. Let's take a look. We got another email in here. Let me see. Let me download that, guys. Let's see what we got. Hold on, people. Here we go. Folks, we got another email with live footage of the explosion. And now this looks like from a boat. All right, this looks like from a boat. Who sent this? Shy sent this. This is video from the Bahamas, from the Abaco area of the Bahamas. So let's go ahead and bring that up. Hang in there 1 second, guys. Hang in there. Here we go. Let me flop back over. There is the video. Let's see what this looks like. Here we go. Roll it. Now, it doesn't look exploded yet. Hold on. Or it could. I don't know. There it goes. That looked like it. Hold on. Oh, there it is. You can see like little dots around there. Oh, there it is. You can see all of like the twinkling pieces.
It really is like a part of a rocket ship. They usually do.
What is that?
There it goes. Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you, Shy. That is a great picture. This is from the islands. Look at that. Now this is live, so if there's anything in here that I can't edit it out, it is what it is. All right, so just hang in there. Let me just go forward. I'm going to play this once again for you guys. Go ahead and watch. Playing it one more time.
It really is like a part of a rocket ship. They usually do.
What is that?
No, it's from.
You're pressing that.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Yep. That is a great shot. Absolutely a great shot. Yeah. So, I mean, looking at this, okay, I kind of want to understand what exactly is going on here. Honestly, I would like to understand what is going on here. I know they're going to do a lot of tests and whatnot. If there's any more videos that anyone has that is watching this right now, I know there's like 400 of you or whatever still on, send them to me and I'll play them. So thank you, Shai, for that one. That is awesome. Bob, thank you. Thank you for everything that you do. So yeah, I mean, everything was going so perfectly, and literally maybe 30 seconds before all engine cut out, they literally cut out themselves. First one, then three, then finally four, and there was only two left, two outer engines, and then finally one of the outer engines that was left was out, and there was only one engine burning, and the thing started doing the death roll. Woot Clip says, clean up on aisle 7. What's the email? So you can send an email over to JCristina photo at gmail.com. That's the same thing as if you go over to jcristina.com, then click on contact, the same kind of thing. You can send it that way, or just JCristina photo. Matter of fact, I'll put it in here. There you go. You can send it right there. If it actually goes through. Did it go through? Maybe it doesn't like because it's an email address. Hold on. Did it work? It did. There you go. Any clips you have, whatever, send them over there, and I'll monitor that. I will monitor that real quick and see what's going on here. Hang in there. Oh. Shannon, thank you for that. I didn't see that. That's my bad. We'll definitely look into that for the next time. I'll make sure that Elon stops dancing. Oh, man. Once again, guys, if you have anything, send me over a clip. Send me over whatever you got. So I want to know what you guys think, okay? Obviously, there's a few hundred of us, 300, 400, whatever, still around. What do you guys think? We know that everything was absolutely picture perfect for 5 minutes straight through the burn. And literally 40 seconds, 30 seconds before full engine cutoff of the Starship, they just started going out. 3, then 4, then 5. What could it be? Like, so if it was like a harmonic balance deal, right? A harmonic resonance thing like they had before, it wouldn't have happened like that, in my personal opinion. I don't think so. Hot staging, that causes a lot of stress because obviously it's breaking free and it's firing off and and they're blazes. And honestly, it ran. Those engines, all those engines ran. All 6, they ran for, what is it, 5 minutes straight or whatever, and literally made it up to 144 kilometers, and the vehicle was traveling over 18,000 kilometers per hour. So they were lit. They were not like limping, so telemetry says that the engines are on, but that doesn't mean like the engines are on. That just means they're working. Right? Maybe they're limping or something. But when you see speeds increasing the way they did, from 9,000 to 18, that doubling speed, you know that the things, they're fully lit. They are working. And then all of a sudden, boom. So seeing like those 3 going out, matter of fact, it was at what, 8, right around here. Let me go ahead and bring that up full screen so you guys can see it again. Let me see. Can we do that? Yeah. All right. Let's roll this one more time. Let's roll this.
Looking right down inside, essentially.
So
the
watch
skirt
right
area
around
of
8:10,
ship,
I think it is.
where you
Right,
can see
8:15.
pretty good view of all
watch. There you
6
go. 1,
Raptors,
2,
especially those
3.
inner ones,
3
one
are
of which we're
out,
gonna
and now
hopefully
4 are
relay
out.
a
Just
little
like
bit
that.
later.
So literally within 3 seconds, 1 engine went out, then 2 went out. So 1 outer engine went out, then 2 inner engines went out, and then finally, by let's say second 3, the last inner engine went out. So it was almost like it's almost like this engine blew up and then took out the rest, let's just say. But because it's hard to go by telemetry.
View of all
But
6
let's watch which ones go out. See, that's the thing.
area of
So
ship
here
where
we
you
go.
can see a pretty good view of all.
There you go. So yeah. So now look at that. So it went
Looking,
where the outer
right
went.
down inside.
Here we
essentially
go.
The skirt area of ship, where you can see a pretty good view of.
Boom, right there. So that doesn't make sense. Now take a look at that. So that outer engine went out, but then on the across from it. So let's say if that outer engine blew up, then I would say one of those inner 2 next to it would have went out too. But what ended up happening was the outer engine went out, and then one of the inner engines went out on the opposite side of it. So to me, that's not like an explosion, unless there's a telemetry problem. But now watch, I'm going to roll it,
Of all 6 Raptors.
and there you go. The one underneath it, right, goes out. Now, I can see that because it would be close to it. But that farthest one, that inner one, shouldn't have went out. It should have been one closer. And then literally a second later,
Raptors, especially
here we
those
go.
3 inner ones. One of which
And boom, now 3 are out. So I don't think it's an explosion. I think it's a fuel frickin' issue. Shannon says, check email. Let me go ahead and check the email again. Carl Sr., thank you so much. Let's take a look at this. Hold on. Let's take a look. Here we go. All right. Hang in there 1 second, guys. There's 2 more feeds that Carl just sent to me, I believe, was it? Yes, Carl, thank you so much for these. There's 2. I'll go ahead and play it for you guys. Hold on. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Will it play? Maybe. Does it? Does it not? Full screen? No. Come on now. No. All right. Hang in there, guys. We'll get it. We will get it. I want to go full screen so you can actually see it better instead of this little deal that we got going on here. Let's see here. Let's see if we can do it like this. I think that will work. All right. Let's go ahead and take this full screen and we're going to roll this and see if we can get this to work. Bear with me. I think this should work. Okay, here we go. So, thank you for this. There we go. We're rolling footage now. Sound is on, so if someone's cursing or something, it's not me. Don't blame anyone but me. Here we go. Everything looks good here. Let me just fast forward it just a little bit. Oh, see, now we can see like the little sparkles. Little sparkles, people. There it is. Man. Wow. That is some great footage, though. That is clean. Man. Jeez, the ending, the ending of IFT8. Man, and this is the exact same ending that we saw for IFT7, which is a little bit annoying. Wow. All right. Well, guys, I mean, it's really, it's, to me, it's kind of interesting that there's not more, like, I wish there was a way to really know, like, what ended up happening, but obviously, you know, obviously there's no real way of knowing until they tell us what ended up happening. You know, we know. But still, it's kind of annoying that almost the exact same thing happens again. A little bit different, obviously, this time. But the last time we saw flames, right? And we knew that there was a problem. And there was the leak. Okay, it was a leak. But they fixed that. And I don't know. I really don't know. Anyone else have some ideas? I would love to hear. If there's any other videos, definitely send them over to me. I'm going to keep checking my mailbox. Let's see. Richard Stewart, thank you. Let me see. Oh, you'll be in Fort Lauderdale on Saturday. Okay. Lunch, dinner. Yeah, so Richard, I will let you know. Once again, the emails are starting to come through right now. So I'll let you know what's going on for this weekend. I might have my daughter and grandkids here. So I will definitely let you know. It would be an honor. But I will let you know. NBC News, SpaceX again loses a Starship rocket on test flight following explosion during prior attempts. Yes, CNN, SpaceX launches 8th test flight of mega rocket after an explosive Flight 7. Guys, you're going to hear negative press for Elon Musk for days. Okay, that's just how it is. He used to be the apple of their eye. He's now an ass, and he doesn't. And you know, literally, the magazines. Like I did a report on it just a couple of days ago. They call him a douchebag. You know, Doge, the douchebag thing, and all this kind of stuff because they just don't like Elon. You know, and you know, I think that they just don't understand that to be able to be someone that is in this type of profession that's launching rockets, you know, you could either do it. There's only two ways to do it. Okay. You could do it the NASA way where iteration just happens very slowly and innovation happens even slower. The way they work is they iterate fast and hot and burn and explosive, right? And then they innovate. And that's what happened with IFT, with their block 1 to block 2. You know, IFT7 was the first block 2, and obviously it has problems. And obviously they're still having the same damn problems, and they haven't been able to fix it yet. So I have a feeling it has something to do with these fuel lines. I don't know, but that the jacketing and the replumbing, there you go. That's the words I'm looking for. The replumbing of the rocket after it was expanded by that 9 feet, whatever, 9 meters, whatever it is, that expansion. They obviously had to do some replumbing, and they also did the jacketing that for greater thermal protection to keep the fuel at a better temperature, not so heated up. And it's just something there just is screwy. It just screwed up. And that's what I personally think that's what they're going to have to look at. Let me see here. Chad says, I think there was another fire in the attic or vent issue. Start watching at 7:45 and you will see either gas or smoke between the Raptor engines where so what do you say here? Chad says 7:45. All right, Chad, let's check it out. We're going to get rid of this video. We will pull this back up. Let me see. You said 7:45. All right. So let's bring this back up. Chad says 7:45. Look at fire inside possibly the attic.
Minute.
Here we go.
Until we'll get to the Starship engine cutoff. Really cool view. Again, a million shout outs to all of our avionics team who
I mean, I'm seeing you know what?
Meanwhile,
So,
keep it do.
Right.
Those are going to continue.
Hold on. Let's get back there
for
again, guys.
About another minute until we'll get to
right there. Is this what you're talking about? These flames right in here?
the Starship engine cutoff. Really cool.
The only thing is that might not make that the case, Chad, is that there should be fire in that area, but I know what you're saying. And this glow that we see on this outer area
again,
here
a million shout outs
could
to
be
all
an
of our
issue.
avionics.
That could be. So we don't know I don't know if that's reflection or if that's actually fire
team who
that's going on in
make
there.
these cameras possible for
Let's
us.
see if we can
That's
see
looking,
another
right
view of that
down
when they pop
inside,
back in.
essentially the
Let's see if
skirt
we can see a
area of
fire
the
in there.
ship,
Just
where you
before,
can
because
see
remember, right around
a pretty good
8:15
view
is
of
when
all
they
six
went dead.
Raptors,
There you go.
especially those
So
three
they're all
inner
dead.
ones, one of which
Oh, did you see that? Did you see that, guys? Let me back up. Hold on. Let me back up. Right here. Now watch
area of the
watch
ship
right above
where you
that,
can
right
see
behind that
a
flap.
pretty
Watch
good view
right
of all
behind that
six
flap.
Raptors, especially those three inner ones. One of which
Right
we're gonna
there.
hopefully
You see the
relight
smoke?
a little
You see the
bit later.
flames? Right there, right there. Okay. So that's an explosion. That's not right. Let's rewind that again. Let's play that again.
Area of ship where you can see.
Let's watch the
a pretty good view of
telemetry.
all
Let's
six
watch
Raptors.
now there. So 3 engines are off. Look in this. Matter of fact, let me bring my pointer up. Hold on, because you can't see my pointer, and at that point, it's not. It doesn't help. Can I bring that up? I don't see that here. Hold on, guys. Hang in there. Where is it? Here, no. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. Here we go. Okay. Let me grab my cursor. Okay. You can see my cursor? Yes, my cursor's there. Okay. So now watch. So check this out, guys. You see right here, this is red. Now, we got 3 flameouts here, right? We got the outer and 2 inner. Now watch. I'm going to go forward just one bit.
There's especially
Right there. So we're at 806.
those three inner.
807. Boom. Did you see that? There was like a big puff, like a flame coming out of here. Watch. Again.
Ones. One of which.
Again. Do you see this right here? That obviously should not be there. This is definitely an explosion. Okay. We can see the blue. You see this right here? We can see the smoke. Let me go again.
Which we're gonna.
There we go. So this red, I don't think is flame. I think this is glare. But this puff is definitely an explosion.
Hopefully
There you go. Yes. And we can see the leak. We can see that leaking out.
light a little
There
bit
you go.
later.
You see it? And now we can see it. It's starting to turn and starting to tumble. Here we go. We go further. And there we go. Now from this
And
view.
we just saw some engines go out. It looks like we are losing attitude control of the ship.
Yep. There it is. All right. So let's rewind this one more time. Let's rewind that one more time. And here we go. So
Pretty good view of all 6 Raptors.
805 right here. So this red is not flame. This is definitely the reflection. So forget about that, but watch the puff that happens.
Especially those 3
coming
inner
up
ones,
there,
one of which we're
right
gonna
there.
Hopefully relight
As
a
these
little bit.
engines go out. Now, remember, telemetry is not going to be spot on. So these engines going out and then seeing it happen is not going to be synced exact. It's almost like lip sync, right? You know, sometimes my lip sync will be out and then I have to go and shift stuff and things like that. So it might not be exact, but I would venture to say when those engines went out, that's when that puff happened, because I think they blew up. I think there was a leak and they blew. I think that that's what ended up happening, because even though it was the outer and then one that was on the opposite side, that inner went out, I still think that was the cause. But at least we can see it. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, dialing that in and seeing that. I think that's spot on. I think that's exactly when it happened. And what's really sad is they only had like another, 45, not even, maybe 30 seconds of burn left when it was going to be shut off anyways. If they would have went, guys, 30 seconds more, at that point, we would have been able to see that Pez dispenser open. The reason being is all engines would have been out, and they would have been able to now open it, do all the rest of the stuff as it glides, until finally they would have reignited when it was to be brought back down. I guess we can look at it this way. Blowing up now or blowing up later, doesn't really matter. It kind of, but it was probably safer that it blew up where it was, because it blew up in the exact same spot or close to the same spot that the last one blew up. So they knew exactly where to go and find the pieces. Do you remember how many chunks were like floating up on the islands? There was a lot. There was a lot of chunks. So, guys, I don't know. Let me just check to see if there's any more emails from anyone. Let me just check real quick here. Excuse me. My throat is killing me. No more. So those were the videos. I want to thank everyone for sending me those videos. At least we got to see some real world of what ended up happening. We saw someone on the Keys losing it, thinking that the whole thing was going to come down on Key West, come down on the bridge. But yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Because it's so high. They're even when you see them overhead in the Turks and Caicos, it's so high that the debris field goes a lot more further east. That's just how it is. The trajectory goes from west to east. It's actually, the trajectory is, I would say, east southeast is a trajectory on how it launches. And that's why I was saying earlier that once they start launching out of Cape Canaveral, Kennedy Space Center up there here in Florida, instead of launching out of Boca Chica, things are going to be better for them. It's going to be safer for them. And where this blows up in the future is going to be in the middle of like nowhere. Okay. And the vehicle will not have to fly over anyone. And once again, like I said before, the way it works now is it has to go through and thread this needle between, Cuba and the West and the Key West. So, you can only see frozen video. All right, let me go ahead and roll that. Let's go ahead and roll it. We'll go ahead and roll the video from. I'm going to turn their audio down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the video from the catch. Here we go. There we go. I'm going to roll the video from there. I'm going to turn the audio down. There you go. We'll keep that rolling so that you guys can see it. See, Daniel says, totally sucks. Hopefully they'll fix it. Yeah. How long will it take for them to launch again? There's a question for you. Look at this.
Start up.
Listen.
This is going to come down to 3 engines as the booster slows down for its landing. And
that does not get
heard
old.
The sonic boom.
That does not get old. Sonic booms.
What an incredible sight to see the Super Heavy booster gliding down into the chopstick arms once again.
That just does not get old. Anyways, like I was saying, that sonic boom, I remember when I used to go, when we used to see the space shuttle launch out of Cape Canaveral, right? The same thing, when it would come in and you could see the air just ripple off it and you can just hear the boom. Very cool stuff. And that was like a plane basically coming in. So it made a big ass boom. But this is amazing. 3 pops, bang, bang, bang. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Video is in RUD. Robert says, drink more tea. You can't. Oh, is it not running? Hold on, guys. Let me go ahead and stop and restart. Let me see if it refreshes. And it refreshed. God, the stream. My camera had a RUD. My camera had a RUD, guys. Holy crap. Oh man, I had to pull the plug on the analog to digital converter and plug it back in. That's what they need to do. See, now we figured it out. They just need to unplug the damn thing and plug it back in, and we're good. Horrible. Look at the thing spinning out of control, guys. Look at it. It's like pitching down, then pitching back, pitching down, flipping over. And you can see the flames and the sparks and the chunks. And now they put standby on there. I wish they see. Okay, so now we got the footage is back. It kind of keeps coming in and out. The footage keeps coming in and out. Yep. Look at telemetry. It's literally all over the place. It's literally flipping all over the place. And it's got one engine lit, and that's it right here, just flipping around. I don't know. I don't know. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, guys, well, look. If you're new, subscribe. We'll go through this one more time. Or many, many more times. So, my prediction was IFT 10, they were going to try to catch the Starship. The question is, do I stand by that or do I have to move it forward? I have a feeling that they should be able to do it. Because if they get the next IFT 9 right, okay, Super Heavy is down. They caught the thing 3 times now. Super Heavy is fine. There's no problem with Super Heavy. Matter of fact, while I'm talking, I'm going to rewind that. Let that roll. You guys can watch it. Watch it again while I'm talking. Okay? There's no reason not to. So there you go. Let me do this is T-1, 40 seconds, and there you go. Blast off. So we'll let that roll. So anyways, I do think that if they're able to catch, or let's say, if they're able to figure out what the problem is, and on the next launch, Super Heavy gets caught for the 4th time. Starship ends up getting up into a position where it can actually work on the Pez dispenser and get the thing to launch out those satellites and then finally come back in and land exactly where it needs to land. I think still by IFT 10, they could attempt to land and catch on the second Mechazilla arms. As you can see in many of the footage, you can take a look through Lab Padre, you can look at NSF or any of the live coverage. You can see there's another Mechazilla, let's call it, being built. It's not done yet, but it's being built. So I think we'll see an IFT 9. My hope is that everything goes well. And then at that point, we will see IFT 10 and possibly a catch. Does it happen? It's really hard to say, but I think that they can still do it for IFT 10. Worst case, IFT 11, but I think IFT 10, they should be able to attempt this catch. I don't know. What say you guys? Do you think? In the chat, let me know. What do you think? Question, Daniel, Daniel says, will SpaceX get to work before you get the bathroom done? Actually, there was work done today. We had 2 guys in there in the bathroom installing lights, 2 new fans, new switches, another light in the closet, all kinds of stuff. So there was stuff done today, and they're coming back tomorrow to do more. So, you know, the main bathroom work, of course, is being done by me. All of the tiling, the remodeling was done by me. But anyways, I don't want to get too much into the bathroom. But yes, there is some work done with the bathroom. And I'm sure Fabiola will tell you about it. Maybe if she's here on Friday. We'll see. I think I'm still going to do a live on Friday. And hopefully we get some more information by Friday. And then we can kind of have a chat about this too. And we could replay some of this or whatnot. I think it would be kind of good to be able to recap and see what ended up working, what didn't, what actually happened, what didn't happen. I think it would be kind of cool. Do like a little recap on Friday, but we'll see. If for some reason I can't, it's going to be because I have my kids down and grandkids down. So we'll see what ends up happening. I'll try to be here on Friday. I'm going to make an effort. I'll probably do one more video this week, possibly tomorrow. We'll see. And then definitely I will try on Friday. Another question. Maybe IFT 10 should try to land at the U.S. base in Australia. That'd be kind of cool, right? The problem is there's really, it's a good thought, all right? See Daniel. But remember, the Block 2, what you see launch today that keeps blowing up, Block 2 is, IFT 7, IFT 8 now. They don't even have little peg legs anymore. They removed all legs. So there's no real way for it to land in Australia unless they had like a Mechazilla sitting over there. But they're looking to do only Mechazillas. You know, that's what they're trying to do because they're trying for this rapid reusability. So they can't. Would they be able to if they had legs? Possibly. But then how do they get it back? You know, what are they going to do with it? It would never happen. But yeah, it's a good thought. That was actually Andrew that said that. Not Daniel. Thank you, Andrew Lee, for that question. Yeah, tomorrow is Friday. It is. Yes. So I don't know. I'm going to see. I'm going to try to be here on Friday. We'll see what happens. I might do just a video for tomorrow and kind of break this down a little bit, just like we did here live for everyone else that weren't able to join us. I might do that. We'll see what happens. I'm going to see also if Fab's going to be around and if the kids will be here or not. So hang tight. And if you are subscribed, definitely hit the notification button. So then you'll know if I'm alive or dead for Friday, because this cold has like been killing me. My youngest son like gave me this funk, and I've been dealing with it for like a week now, guys. So thank you for hanging out and bearing with the all of the drinking and the throat stuff, because this is just it's been a bit. So anyways, well, IFT8 has come and gone. We got to watch it together. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, everyone else, for the super chats. Thank you guys all for the free memberships that were given out today. Shannon, you've outdid yourself as always. There's no way, for me to email you and explain to you how I appreciate the support. I definitely want to see it with you guys. Definitely reach out to me, and I want to see if we can put together maybe a bunch of us, and maybe we do a live and there's all 4 of us on, or two of us, or 3 of us, however many people can make it. Mo, let me know. Shannon, let me know. Peter, let me know. And bring people on board. I think it'd be great to be able to have some banter back and forth. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be able to talk about this stuff, and that's it. So once again, just have a good camera, have your mic in check, so to speak, and that's it. I'll do the rest. We'll probably use like Ninja or something. I'll send you over a link, and and boom, you can even use a phone if you wanted to. Anyways, I digress, as I always do. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate everyone for being here. We've been on for almost 4 hours now, like over 3.5 hours, and I just had a blast. I wish it's always exciting because you never know what's going to happen, right? It's like there's a lot of good things are like that. We just don't know what the outcome is, and this is one of those things. So, anyways, guys, thank you for being here. We will see you in the next one. We might see you tomorrow. Don't hold me to it, but I might see you tomorrow. Anyways, many blessings to each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, do all of that stuff. And we'll see you the next time. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.